Good evening, everyone. Welcome to auditing class and welcome to our second chapter of audit. I hope you all are doing well. Sit straight, keep your books in your hand, keep your notebooks in your hand, keep your pen and paper in your hand, and we will have a very interesting new topic today, a lot of new concepts today, new essays today. So, good evening, Karan. Good evening, Bhavani. Good evening, Shahid, Nikunj, Surinder, Rashmi, Navneet, Ajay. Many of you are there. I cannot take all names, but welcome. And let's keep it as interactive as possible, and we are all going to enjoy. But one thing, let me check if you have studied chapter number 1. How many of you studied chapter number 1 on your own? First, tell me that quickly. How many of you went through and revised chapter 1 on your own? Mention in chat box quickly. I want, even if it's tried, Mustafa, it's okay. I want there should be a trial, okay? But something you should have done. The last class was 4 days back, okay? All right. So I'll ask a few questions. Let's see, even if conceptually, if you can remember. Who are the three parties? Who are three parties in assurance engagement? Who are three parties in assurance engagement? Quickly tell me. Quickly write down in the chat box. Who are the three parties in an assurance engagement? Practitioner, responsible party, and intended users. Correct. The first answer was given by Nikunj. Correct answer first by Nikunj. Very good, Nikunj. Next question is, the auditing gives what kind of assurance? Auditing gives what kind of assurance? Which level of assurance? Reasonable. Then review gives what kind of assurance? Review. Review gives which kind of assurance? Limited assurance. Very good. Okay. Who appoints auditor in a government company? Who appoints auditor in a government company? CAG. Very good. Who appoints auditor in a sole proprietorship firm? Who appoints auditor in a sole proprietor? Very good. Now, what is the full form of essay number 200? What is the full form? What is the full name of essay number 200? Overall objective of whose? Kiska objective? Overall objective of independent auditor and conduct of audit in accordance with standard of auditing. Of course, time lagega likhne mein, that's okay. Overall objective of independent auditor and conduct of audit in accordance with standard of auditing. Congratulations, Shushmita, you have written it fully. So this was like a quick revision. Every time we'll do like a 1 minute, 2 minute maximum revision of previous class. Okay. So now we will start with our fresh topic that is for today. That is chapter number 2. Okay. Now chapter number 2. If your query is about previous chapter, that we will take at the end of the class. Okay. Because previous chapter is already closed. So if you have query regarding previous chapter, after the class is over, you can ask me any questions. Okay. So any questions that is not related to the chapter or it is about previous chapter, general questions, please keep it. We will do it all in the end of the class. Okay. Because the class has started for chapter number 2 now. So let's not go into individual things. During the chapter number 2, if you have related to chapter number 2, that we can take up. And any other extra things we will take up at the end of the class. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So the chapter number 1 that we studied was like building a foundation about what is audit about, what are the objectives of audit, right? Now, you all should know that audit is a long, large process, right? You have to literally go through so many aspects of an entity. And if an entity is large, the process is very long, time taking, and complex. So, can I jump directly into auditing or should I make some plans before? I should make some plans before, right? Before I jump into asking vouchers and asking details, I should be making some plans. And hence, this chapter number 2 is about the preparation that I have to do as an auditor before I can jump start and do the audit. Okay. And that involves three things: strategy, planning, and program. Now, before we start this, we have to know a few concepts. Am I not audible? Ajay is saying I'm not audible. Can everyone quickly let me know if I'm properly audible or not? Clear, audible. Okay. Ajay, just check if there's some problem with your system because everyone else it's audible. Okay, so before we start with the chapter, we have to understand a few concepts. So let me tell you those concepts first, and then we will start with the theory of the chapter. So do you remember when we were studying chapter number 1 also, I did a few concepts that were important to understand the chapter properly. So same way we are going to do those concepts, which will help you understand a few terminologies that will come in the chapter. So first, let's understand something that is TCWG. That is those charged with governance. Okay. So you don't have to write these things. I am not teaching you any definition right now. I am only explaining you some concepts. These concepts will come throughout the audit. When the definition comes, it may come, some definition may come in chapter number 9, some definition may come in chapter number 11. So that time we will focus on learning. Right now, just pay attention to understand these concepts. We are not doing definition. We are understanding some concepts that will help you understand this chapter properly. Okay. So the first thing that you need to know as a CA student is this word called as those charged with governance, that is TCWG. First of all, let me clarify that it is not a legal terminology. It is a word that we auditors use with respect to that who do we talk to in a company. But first, let me make you understand. So let's say there is a school. Okay. Let's say there is a nice school. Okay. Now in this school, there is principal, there are teachers, there is other staff, right? So if I am auditor of this school, so I am a nice auditor, I want to go audit this school. Okay. Now, who are the people who will be involved in the daily management of the school? Principals, teachers, staff, these will be involved in management, which means they are doing all work. What are they doing? They are doing all the executive work, which means daily, इनके साथ ही मेरा उठना बैठना होगा. With them only daily I have to sit, ask for information, daily deal with things. So they will know what is exactly going every day in school. But do you think in a school, there are people who are even above the principal? There can be people who are even above the principal. There can be trustees. Yes or no? There can be trustees in a school. Those trustees can be people who are not involved in day-to-day function. They can sit across table and do all the meetings, right? So these trustees Are they involved in day-to-day functioning? Are they involved in day-to-day functioning? But if our school has to start a new course or a new, let's say, subject, or it has to change from CBSE board to, let's say, IB board, can it happen without trustees? Can it happen without trustees? Can teachers take the decision to change the school from CBSE board to IB board? No. So these are strategic people and governance. So as an auditor, who are the people that I deal day to day with? वाउचर मिसिंग है, थोड़ा आपके फर्म के बारे में बताइए. If I have to deal day to day with, do I deal with management or do I deal with governance? Management. But if I need to discuss something about management, suppose I have problem with management and management is not giving me details, management is not cooperating, can I go to the strategy people and trustees and discuss with them? So auditor can work with both people. He can work with management also. He can work with TCWG also. But who are the primary people we work with? Who are the primary people we work with? Management. But if needed, we can also work with trustees. So people who are involved in strategy making and governance, they are called as TCWG. So when I am appointed as auditor of any entity, whether it's a school, it's a hospital, it's a textile business, it's a diamond business, it's a theater, I have to first ask clearly that who are management and who I will classify as TCWG. But what did I say? TCWG is an audit word. Matlab, if I go to my client and tell me, give me list of TCWG, will they understand? Will they understand? Give me a list of TCWG. No. I have to tell them that give me list of trustees because TCWG is my personal bifurcation for my planning work. Do you understand? Does the management understand what TCWG is? Is TCWG a law word? Is it a tax word? No, it's an audit terminology. Why it has been created? So that auditor can divide that who is management and who is TCWG. Is that clear? So if I go to a company, maybe some promoters can be TCWG. So I will not tell them that give me a list of trustees. I can tell them give me a list of your promoters. I can tell them give me a list of your independent directors. So for me, those will be TCWG. So in each kind of business and each kind of entity, TCWG can be different people. Everyone clear? So I have to see as per the entity that who will be TCWG. You will see TCWG word continuously in your 11 chapters. Okay. So you should be very clear what is a TCWG, those charged with governance. Now you tell me, is management under who is the bigger authority? TCWG is the bigger authority or management is the bigger authority? TCWG. So you are absolutely clear with this word now, right? You are absolutely clear. Now, I am not teaching you definition right now. In your whole chapter number 2, there is no definition of TCWG. TCWG definition will come when we study essay number 260, 265 and essay, this completion chapter. Okay. So it will come very late. But the concept of TCWG is coming from chapter number 1 and 2. Is that clear? That is the first thing I said to you before I started TCWG. That don't worry about right now definition. Just understand. Please pay attention, okay? All right. So first concept is clear to everyone. Can I move on to next concept? Okay. All right. Pay attention now. Next concept. Next concept is audit risk. Again, this will come in detail. Again, this will come in detail later on. But right now, just understand the meaning. So the previous thing what we understood, TCWGs are people who are involved with strategy decisions, and those strategy are executed by whom? Management. Okay. So as an auditor, we deal with management, but we can also communicate with TCWG. And for that, we will study detailed essays later on. But as of now, you have to understand the meaning of TCWG. Now come to the next concept, that is audit risk. Okay, pay attention everyone. Audit risk. Now, in audit, what do we do? In audit, we give audit opinion. Okay, true and fair. Okay, firstly tell me, why do we write true and fair? Why are we not writing true and correct? What happens that if I am checking a balance sheet or a P&L, okay, and there is conveyance expense. There is conveyance expense, okay? What can happen? So suppose they give me bills of all the conveyance expense, but do you think auto wala bhaiya, all these people will give me all the bills? Okay, it is not necessary that everywhere I can get bills. So suppose 2 lakh rupees is written as conveyance expense. Okay, but do you think it is possible that I will be able to get voucher for each and everything? It is not possible that I might get bill. But still, as an auditor, I may think, okay, if the company has 500 employees, this appears to be reasonable. This appears to be fair. So as an auditor, we don't give a certificate. We mention whether it is true and fair. We never write true and correct. Fairness is about reasonableness. That whatever appears in the balance sheet, P&L, or overall financial statements, it's true, and also is it fair. Okay. Now, when we give this audit opinion, is it possible that Navneet may think that it is true and fair, but in judgment of Rashmi, it might be that it is not true and fair? Can that happen? Can there be a difference of judgment between Navneet and Rashmi? Even if Navneet and Rashmi are partners, there can be a dispute, right? And even if both of them agree, and even if you write true and fair, is there always a risk that my opinion may not be, appropriate in that situation? Is that possible? Is there always a risk? So audit risk means risk of inappropriate audit opinion. Please remember this. Audit risk means risk of inappropriate. मैंने incorrect क्यों नहीं लिखा? मैंने inappropriate क्यों लिखा? Risk of inappropriate audit opinion. ऐसा क्यों नहीं लिखा? Risk of incorrect audit opinion. What do you think is the reason? Yes, because there is no correct, incorrect in audit opinion. इसलिए opinion word है. मेरी ओपिनियन है कि ऐसा होना चाहिए, आपकी ओपिनियन है ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, तो हमारे में मतभेद है. ठीक है? Does not mean that there is clarity that who is right and who is wrong. So audit risk means that I have given an opinion that may not be suitable. इसलिए हम क्या word use करते हैं? Suitable for the given situation. So that risk is called as inappropriate audit opinion. उसके risk को क्या बोलते हैं? Risk of inappropriate audit opinion. We will go in this detail much later. As of now, do you understand the word audit risk? Do you understand just the word audit risk? We'll go in definitions later on. Okay. Now this audit risk is due to two types of risk, okay? Risk of material misstatement. Sometimes you will find it written in like this also. And detection risk. This we will study later, okay? Just focus on this. So, समझो कि audit risk को दो part में divide किया. There are two reasons because of which audit risk exists. The first main reason is risk of material misstatement, which means whenever we are auditing, there is possibility that there is some misstatement. There is possibility that that misstatement is material. So there is always risk of material misstatement. Yes or no? So to find that what are risk of material misstatement, so let me give you a small example. You will tell me on your own. Suppose I'm running a stationery shop. You are auditor of a stationery shop. Tell me what is the biggest risk in a stationery shop? Tell me one of the biggest risk if aap businessman ho, you are business person. So tell me, in stationery shop, what is the biggest problem? Stock and cash. Yes or no? Which means stock, small value, high quantity, easy pilferage, then cash also. Cash intensive it can be. Because lot of students might come to buy from you and they may not have their own phone or their own UPI, and they might give you 10 rupees for one rubber, 5 rupees for one pencil. So lot of cash work can be there, right? So now tell me, if you are auditor of a stationery business, will stock be in your high priority of verification? Will stock be in your high priority कि इसको तो बहुत अच्छे से चेक करूंगा भाई, स्टॉक तो मैं बहुत अच्छे से चेक करूंगा. यस और नो? अगर आपको स्टेशनरी बिजनेस का ऑडिटर बना दिया जाए तो आप स्टॉक को अच्छे से चेक करेंगे? यस. कैश को अच्छे से चेक करेंगे? यस. व्हाई? Because they are having ROMM. Do you understand now? These both will become your areas of risk. Yes or no? Stock will also be your area of risk. Cash, there can be many. I'm just giving you a small example. There can be many areas of risk, okay? But right now, just a small example. So this you said on your own. By understanding the business, by understanding the nature of business, you automatically know that this is a area of risk. If I am running let's say vegetable shop, what is my risk area? What is the risk area in a vegetable shop? What is risk area in a vegetable shop? Again, vegetables, low shelf life, storage. Yes or no? Perishable products. So of course, again, in this also my risk area is stock. Yes or no? So again, it's a risk area. Yes. So can I say that when I start audit, to start audit, I have to do something called as risk assessment procedure. Do you know what you are doing right now? आप लोग एक चीज कर रहे हो जो आपको पता भी नहीं है कि आप कर रहे हो। आप पता है क्या कर रहे हो? आप एंटिटी को समझ रहे हो, उसके एनवायरमेंट को समझ रहे हो। मैं आई गेव यू एग्जांपल ऑफ स्टेशनरी। ऑल ऑफ यू अंडरस्टैंड स्टेशनरी बिजनेस? सबको समझ में आता है स्टेशनरी का बिजनेस क्या होता है? सबको समझ में आता है कि स्टेशनरी के बिजनेस में क्या होता है, व्हाट हैपेंस इन स्टेशनरी? ओके। आपको समझ में आता है कि कहाँ इंटरनल कंट्रोल वीक हो सकते हैं, यस और नो? कहाँ वीक हो सकते हैं? पेरिशेबल आइटम में, स्टेशनरी में कहाँ वीक हो सकते हैं? स्मॉल पिल्फरेज में। सो डू यू नो व्हाट यू आर डूइंग? विच ऑडिट प्रोसीजर यू आर डूइंग राइट नाउ? आप सबने मिलके क्या प्रोसीजर किया अभी? व्हाट प्रोसीजर डिड यू ऑल परफॉर्म for stationery business and vegetable business? You just did risk assessment. Do you understand? The part of risk assessment is understanding the entity, its environment. Do you understand now? And also understanding the internal control system. Do you understand? So to understand an entity, its environment and its control systems is called as risk assessment. So when you understand this, you find ROMM. So when you do risk assessment, what do you find? You find ROMM. What does it mean? So suppose stationery shop is there. Which is the risk area we found? We found stock to be a risk area. Yes or no? We found stock to be a risk area. But what if the business person tells you, I have CCTV cameras in my whole this thing shop? Then anyone who enters my shop, they have to give their handbags. They cannot carry their handbags inside the store. And even my pencils have a barcode scanner. And if anyone has to exit the store, they have to show the bag and they have to show the bill. What does it mean? Is the internal control system good or bad? Is the internal control system good or bad? So is the risk of material misstatement high or low? Is the risk of material misstatement high or low? So just now you performed two audit procedures. You did risk assessment, and by doing risk assessment, you found what? Risk of material misstatement. Do you understand? ये हम बहुत छोटे लेवल पे बात कर रहे हैं. इमेजिन आपको किसी बड़ी कंपनी का करना है तो बहुत लंबा क्वेश्चनेयर बनेगा रिस्क असेसमेंट करने के लिए. बट इन क्लास वी आर इंटरमीडिएट स्टूडेंट्स, वी आर जस्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑडिट राइट नाउ. सो दिस शुड मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड द टर्म. आपको पहले टर्मिनोलॉजी समझ में आनी चाहिए, है ना? So everyone clear with the word risk assessment procedure? Okay. All right. Now I'll give you a very small structure. Voice is not clear. Student is saying all clear. Okay, it's clear. Please check your internet. All right. Now look at the next point. Okay, pay attention. Today in the class, you have to pay full attention because I'm continuously talking to you. Okay. I'm not delivering a one-sided lecture. I'm continuously talking. So आपका दिमाग एक मिनट भी डाइवर्ट होगा अगर, तो पूरा फ्लो चला जाएगा. एक से दूसरा कॉन्सेप्ट, दूसरे से तीसरा, तीसरे से चौथा पूरा कनेक्ट हो रहा है. ठीक है? So please be very attentive in class. All right. सो नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, इसी चीज से जुड़ा हुआ अगेन आपके बुक में ये वर्ड्स यूज हो रहे हैं. द वर्ड्स आर बीइंग यूज्ड इन द बुक. ओके, सो पे अटेंशन. सो ऑडिट करने के लिए, टू डू ऑडिट यू हैव टू परफॉर्म ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स, राइट? To do audit we need to perform audit procedures. Very simple. Now one of the audit procedure we just studied, what is it? Risk assessment procedure. Okay, One of the procedure we just studied is risk assessment procedure. And the second is further audit procedure. Okay, this again we will study in detail in chapter number 3 and 4. But these words are used, so I'm just giving you the names. So first comes risk assessment procedure and then comes further audit procedures. Okay, and in this we have two types. Test of control and substantive procedure. Just remember this as of now. We'll do everything later. Just remember these words, okay? So audit procedure main इस chapter में इसका usage काफी है, okay? This is used, but 1 or 2 times this word is used, so don't get confused. After risk assessment procedure, FAP comes. This is one of the most important topics we will study in chapter number 3 and 4 in detail, okay? So just remember, after RAP comes FAP, and then FAP also is further divided into many different procedures. So this part is clear, all right? So this much is clear, everyone. These concepts are clear, so we can start with the next topic. All concepts are clear? All right. Okay. Now I will start with your chapter, okay? Now I will start with your chapter. Okay, so TCWG clear, risk assessment procedure clear, risk of material misstatement clear, and that's it. These three main topics. Yes, Aditi, what is your doubt? Aditi has raised hand.
Ma'am, actually, just I wanted to see in that further audit procedure, you have further divided into two parts, which is test of control, and one more thing which there was
Substantive procedure.
Okay, fine, got it. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Now come back to chapter number 2. So chapter number 2 के नाम ही देख लो. नाम में क्या है? Audit strategy, audit planning, audit program. Ab all of this is covered is in essay number 300, planning and audit of financial statements. Okay. So see what happens if it is an investigation, right? The case can keep going on for 10 years, 5 years, 15 years. If it's a court case, it can keep going on 30 years. But audit is a time-bound procedure. It's a time-bound procedure. What does it mean? AGM तो हर साल होगी, financial year तो हर साल खत्म होगा, ठीक है? ITR तो हर साल फाइल करनी है. So everything is based on a deadline. It means audit needs to be completed before a certain date. Yes or no, everyone? Audit needs to be completed in a certain date. Okay. Now let's say that Surinder has joined as article somewhere, right or wrong? So Surinder has joined as article, and his CA, his principal is telling, Surinder, you will join the audit team of XYZ Private Limited. Okay. तो आप XYZ Private Limited की टीम का हिस्सा बनोगे सुरिंदर. एंड XYZ की जो टीम है, ऑडिट टीम, जो ऑडिट टीम बोलते हैं, वो बोलती है आ जाओ सुरिंदर, चलो हमारे साथ ऑडिट करने. तो सुरिंदर को कुछ समझ में आएगा? Will Surinder understand anything if directly they take him for audit? No. So if a new person join, if someone has freshly joined, there should be some mechanism, some instruction sheet, some checklist, something should be available for this new person to read, to understand this entity and to understand what work should be done. There should be some instruction sheet. Yes or no? And that is why it becomes very important to do all the planning and strategy properly. Okay. So first let's understand why planning is necessary. Why planning is necessary. या फिर इसको बोल दो benefits of planning or advantages of planning. So let's say not scope. Scope is boundary of work. Planning is how to cover that boundary. Okay. So planning के benefits क्या है ऐसे समझो. Okay. So अगर हम प्लान करते हैं किसी भी चीज को, if I am planning an audit, suppose I am auditor of, let's say, DMart. Okay. DMart, everyone knows what is a DMart. All over India, they are grocery chain, like supermarket chain, right? So suppose I'm auditor of DMart. Now, if I plan properly, I will know what are the important areas of audit in DMart. Yes or no? If I plan properly, what will happen? I will know क्या क्या important चीजों पे ध्यान देना है. और जैसे ही important आएगा, अपने आप पता चल जाएगा what are the potential problem areas. What are the potential problems that can be found. Okay. So जब हम प्लानिंग करते हैं हमें ये भी पता चलेगा कि what are the important areas to check, and we will also be able to identify what are the potential problems. कहाँ कहाँ दिक्कत आ सकती है. डीमार्ट में क्या दिक्कत आ सकती है कि डीमार्ट might have 2 lakh stores in our country, but I may not be able to go to each branch of DMart, or I might not be able to go through all the fixed assets of DMart. I might not be able to go. These are my potential problems, right? So we come to know when we do planning properly, we come to know what are important areas and what are problematic areas. अब important areas भी पता चल गए, problematic areas भी पता चल गए. So suppose I come to know that DMart has a lot of GST issues. Yes or no? So suppose DMart का audit सुरिंदर को दिया गया है. सुरिंदर is first year article. So सुरिंदर को handle करने देंगे पूरा GST हम लोग. Can I give Surinder to handle the whole GST area? No. So planning helps us in proper selection of engagement team members. ऑडिट टीम को हम ऑफिशियल वर्ड्स में क्या बोलते हैं? व्हाट डू वी से ऑडिट टीम इन ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज? एंगेजमेंट टीम. तो अगर आप प्लानिंग ही नहीं करोगे, आपको ये पता ही नहीं है, सपोज आपको ऑडिट पढ़ना है या ऑडिट आपको मुझे पढ़ाना है, ठीक है, तो ऑडिट में क्या इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज है ये मैं आपको टिक करवाती हूँ ना. पढ़ाते टाइम में पहले से ही मुझे पता होता है कि क्या इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज है. पढ़ाते टाइम मैं पहले से ही बोलती हूँ, आई लेट यू नो यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स को प्रॉब्लम आती है, यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स कंफ्यूज होते हैं, ये तुम्हें समझने में दिक्कत होगी, इसलिए मैं पहले से तुम्हें ये समझा रही हूँ. सो इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज दिस. प्लस because ICAI is planning properly, they are able to select right people who are able to deliver it. Same way when I'm doing audit, I have to select correct people. So one of the benefits of planning is you are able to make a good team. It helps you in selection of correct team members who have appropriate capability and competence. सही काम के लिए सही बंदा. Okay, for correct work, correct person. So audit helps us in selection of correct people. Planning helps us in selection of correct people. Then what will happen? इन लोगों को अच्छे से direction and supervise If planning is done properly, what are we able to do properly? We are able to direct them, we are able to supervise them, plus we are able to review their work. So if the planning is done properly, you can find correct people and then you can direct them, you can supervise them, you can review their work. सब हवा में हो रहा होगा तो कुछ नहीं होगा. सब राइटिंग में प्लान करके होगा, इंस्ट्रक्शन की लिस्ट बनेगी, चेक लिस्ट बनेगी, सब लोग अपना अपना साइन करेंगे. आज मैंने इतना चेक किया मैम, मुस्तफा बोलेगा आज मैंने ये चेक किया, नवनीत बोलेगा आज मैंने ये चेक किया. तो अपने आप रिव्यू हो पाएगा काम का. So one of the benefits of planning is that it helps in direction and supervision of engagement team. See, आज हम जो टॉपिक पढ़ रहे हैं वो थियोरेटिकल टॉपिक है, ओके, बट उसका प्रैक्टिकल इम्प्लीकेशन बहुत हाई है. पढ़ते समय हमें लगेगा कि आज बहुत थियोरी हो रही है मैडम, बहुत लर्निंग वाले आंसर्स हो रहे हैं, बट इट इज द बेस. ओके, जब आप गिटार सीखने जाते हो ना, गिटार बजाना बड़ा कूल लगता है, बट इफ यू एक्चुअली गो टू अ गिटार क्लास, first 2 months they will just make you keep doing the same saregama pa again and again and again, so it's boring. But to reach that level that you can play guitar very smoothly and look cool, you first have to go through the repetition and some boring things. Is that clear? So even though this is very theoretical, it is very important. It is all foundation based. एंड में हम गिटार बहुत बढ़िया बजाएंगे, बट उसके लिए ये थियोरी से गुजरना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो सिलेक्शन ऑफ गुड एंगेजमेंट टीम, डायरेक्शन, सुपरविजन एंड रिव्यू. नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट बेनिफिट इज गुड कोऑर्डिनेशन. अच्छे से प्लानिंग होगी तो क्या होगा? अच्छे से कोऑर्डिनेशन. सो अभी तक क्या बेनिफिट्स थे, एकदम लॉजिकली सोचो. आई एम डूइंग प्लानिंग फॉर माई ऑडिट. आप किसी भी चीज की प्लानिंग कर लो, आप अपने पढ़ने की प्लानिंग कर लो. सो यू आर planning that I am giving intermediate in September 2026. So let me first find out how am I planning my whole intermediate. I'm finding what are the important things I have to study. I'm finding where do I find problem. ओ मुझे audit समझने में दिक्कत होती है, या मुझे costing समझने में दिक्कत होती है, तो मुझे उस पर ज्यादा टाइम देना पड़ेगा. That is problems. Then मैंने सही टीचर्स को सिलेक्ट किया है, मैं इनसे पढ़ाई करूंगा. सो सिलेक्शन ऑफ एंगेजमेंट टीम. इससे क्या होगा? वो टीचर आपसे रेगुलरली फॉलो अप ले रही है, या फिर वो आपसे आपको नोट्स दे रहे हैं, वो आपको डायरेक्शन दे रहे हैं कि ये पढ़ो, ये मत पढ़ो, आपका रिवीजन करवा रहे हैं. सो दैट इज डायरेक्शन एंड सुपरविजन. फिर प्लानिंग होगा तो कोऑर्डिनेशन होगा. सो बिकॉज सी, today in January we are studying for September already. Why? Because we have planned, and that is why there is a coordination. And अगर प्लानिंग होती है तो सब कुछ क्या होता है? लास्ट पॉइंट क्या है? Audit is performed in effective. End result क्या होगा? End result will be effective and efficient. Did you understand? What will be the end result? Effective and efficient audit. Okay. बिना देखे, and everyone don't look it into your books, just pay attention. This is a very common theory asked question. So why is planning necessary, or what are the benefits of planning? First, think of your CA studies planning. प्लानिंग करने से मुझे सीए स्टडीज में क्या फायदा होगा? इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज, पोटेंशियल प्रॉब्लम्स आइडेंटिफाई होगी, सही लोग सिलेक्शन मीन सिलेक्शन ऑफ प्रॉपर टीम मेंबर्स, देन डायरेक्शन अच्छे से होगा, सुपरविजन होगा, रिव्यू होगा अच्छे से, क्वेश्चन होगा, एंड गोल क्या होगा? एंड रिजल्ट वेरी इफेक्टिव एंड एफिशिएंट. याद रहेगा सबको? एवरीवन कैन रिमेंबर? कम टू द बुक. Do you think you can remember this answer? Okay. All right. So what did we study just now? Essay number 300, planning and audit of financial statements. Okay. Why planning is necessary? Benefits, advantages, purpose. Okay. Advantages, purpose, benefits. Why is it necessary? So planning benefits: appropriate attention to important areas, identify and resolve potential problems on timely basis, समय रहते, then organize and manage the audit engagement so that it is done in an efficient and effective manner, then selection of correct engagement team members as per their capability and competence, facilitating direction and supervision of engagement and review, and coordination of work by others. Okay? आप इसको ऊपर नीचे लिखेंगे तो no problem. If you change the order, that's okay. So if you remember in this order, area, important areas, potential problems, selection, direction, supervision, review, coordination, and effective and efficient. So if you remember in this way, that's completely okay. It's not a steps. These are general benefits. So it does not matter if your structure changes, okay? So if you write second point and fourth point and eighth point, it's all okay. So this answer is clear. Any doubt till now? Any doubt till now? Okay. Now, why do we do this? Why do we do this? So I told you that each audit has audit risk, yes or no? हर audit में audit risk होता ही है. Can I reduce the audit risk to zero? Can I reduce the audit risk to zero? No. Then why do we do planning? So that we can reduce audit risk to acceptable low level. Do you understand now? क्यों planning करते हैं हम? So that we can reduce the audit risk to low level. Everyone clear? So now if you'll see here, planning and audit ensures that audit risk is reduced to acceptable low level. It reduces the risk of inappropriate opinion. पढ़ाया ना मैंने ये सब आपको अभी. Is it, इसकी कोई definition दी है यहाँ पे अभी? Do you see any definition of these words? No. Right now it's not there. But do you know the meaning now? Because we already studied. Do you know the meaning now? Because I already taught you. So that is the reason I taught you the words. Do you understand? It is not for definition. It is so that you can understand the chapter. So आप सिर्फ समझो अभी. Next topic. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Suppose at start of audit, I created some plan. Okay. Suppose at the start of audit, I created some plan. Okay. Now, audit ke dauran, during the audit. So suppose when I was making plan, I came to know that internal control system has tally for billing software. Okay. So I thought tally use कर रहे हैं, billing software use कर रहे हैं, accounting use कर रहे हैं, तो clerical mistakes तो नहीं मिलनी चाहिए, yes or no bills में? If they are using properly tally, billing software, so I made plan accordingly. So I thought, okay, if everything is there, I will check 50% bills. Like that, I made the plan, okay? But when I was actually checking bills, I found mistakes in 3 bills out of 10. Is that a problem? While checking bills, I found mistakes in 3 bills out of 10. Now, do you think I have to change my plan in the middle of the audit? Now, do you think I have to change my plan in the middle of the audit? पर पूरा प्लान बनाकर मैंने तो मेरे 25 लोगों की टीम को प्लान डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया है अब तो. और 10 दिन बाद मुझे प्लान चेंज करना है तो कर सकते हैं. कैन आई चेंज प्लान आफ्टर 10 days, 15 days in the middle of the audit? Yes, because when I made the plan, I thought that risk of material misstatement is low. But while checking bills, I am coming to know that risk of material misstatement is high. And that is why I have to do more audit procedures. Yes or no? अब मुझे ज्यादा चेकिंग करना पड़ेगा, बड़ा सैंपल लेना पड़ेगा. So, is audit planning a fixed thing or it is a continuous thing? Can it keep changing as per the evidence we find? Can planning keep changing from the evidence we find? It is continuous and flexible. Very good. Which is your next topic? Nature of audit planning is a continuous and iterative process. Means iterative means something that is logical, something that is continuously lagatar, and iterative means situation based and repetitive and ever changing. Is that clear? So planning is not a discrete phase, but rather a continual and iterative process. Remember for MCQ. Please write down here. Remember it for MCQ. Okay. So now you will see one answer. So let's see what it is about. So when we are doing any planning, okay. So prior to auditors identification and assessment of ROMM, planning needs to consider following matters. ये क्या question है? पहले तो question समझो. First understand the question. See, the question is here. Planning includes the need to consider prior to auditors identifying and assessment of risk of material misstatement such matters as. Can you see this further audit procedures? All these words are being used here itself. Okay. So what is it saying? I have rephrased it. What have I saying? That risk of material misstatement समझने से पहले ROMM exactly identify and assessment करने से पहले plan करते समय, while planning, before understanding the and identifying all the risk of material misstatement, while planning, what do I have to consider? Again, I'm repeating. Prior to doing the identification and assessment of all the risks, what planning I have to do, what matters I have to consider. The first important thing is a general understanding. I have to obtain general understanding of the entity कि इनके ऊपर क्या legal and regulatory framework apply होता है. Okay. Before I even start checking their systems, anything before I start doing, first I need to obtain general understanding of entities, legal and regulatory framework, and whether how they are complying with it. Obtain this general understanding. Okay. So before you go in detail of ROMM, find these things. Second, you have to consider. So right now, am I doing the audit or am I just analyzing things? Have I started doing the audit or am I just getting some information and analyzing? Okay. So obtain a general understanding. So suppose a new client has come to me. Gayatri Sethia has come to me. Okay. Gayatri saying, Madam, you become my auditor. So before I start thinking what risks are there, what is happening, all that, first I'll ask, Acha. So Gayatri says, I am doing a leather business. So Gayatri is doing leather making business. So first I will have to understand leather industry, yes or no? लेदर इंडस्ट्री पे क्या क्या रूल लगते हैं, क्या नियम रखते हैं. I have to understand everything. So first I'll understand legal and regulatory and how is Gayatri's company complying with them. So this I understood. Then I will see how many experts I will have to involve. So to be able to audit Gayatri, I will think, oh, leather industry. I think I will need a valuer who is good at leathers. I can take her to the godown and maybe check all the, because in past 5 years, there are many scams in leather industry. So some knowledge I need to have. And accordingly, I have to see that whether I need to involve some experts. So I'm just thinking and analyzing this. Then usually in leather business, what are material things and what is abnormal rate of loss, normal rate of loss, general analysis that इस काम में कितना काम करना पड़ेगा, है ना? इस ऑडिट में कितना काम करना पड़ेगा, क्या मटीरियलिटी है चीजों की, कितनी चीजें मटीरियल है, किस लेवल पे मटीरियलिटी रहती है, हर छोटी चीज मटीरियल है या हर बड़ी चीज मटीरियल है. So materiality I have to check, and then I have to do some analytical procedures to see RAP. Now, this is very interesting. Pay attention. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? So, have I started audit? No. Gayatri has come to me. She's running what company? Quickly tell me. देखती हूँ कितना attention है. Gayatri is running which company? Which business is she running? Leather. Okay. So Gayatri is sitting in front of me. Imagine I am the CA. Gayatri is sitting in front of me. She is discussing with me that you become our auditor. Okay. All that discussion is going on. And she has brought her financial statements. Okay. So Gayatri अपने साथ में financial statements लेकर आई है. And I see that 2024, 2025. Okay. Now I'm just going through. Okay. And I see that last year sales was 2 crore and this year sales have suddenly become 10 crores. Automatically क्या लग रहा है? थोड़ा ज्यादा ध्यान से काम करना पड़ेगा. Okay. But अब current liabilities balance sheet में last year तक थी 50 lakhs. Now it's 6 crores. क्या लग रहा है? रिस्क है? रिस्क एरिया है? इस करंट लायबिलिटी या रिस्क एरिया? Is current liability a risk area? Okay. Now tell me that what did I just do? Did I do any vouching verification or did I just do comparison between this year and last year? Yes. So can we analyze risk by doing analysis also? Can we analyze risk assessment by doing analysis? So without going much into detail, by just doing risk analysis, I am able to do risk assessment. So before going in detail that what is the risk of material misstatement, auditor can do during planning itself analytical procedures applied as risk assessment procedure. Everyone is clear? So by doing this simple balance sheet and P&L analysis, I can come to know that whether the work with this Gayatri lady is going to be very easy or it's going to be very challenging. Is that clear? Okay. It's going to be challenging. But if it would have been instead of 2 crore, last year 2 crore, this year 3.5 crores. Does it appear to be okay, normal? So this analysis would have told, okay, normal business, normal growth. I'll do normal procedures, yes or no? So during the planning, by doing basic analysis also, you can come to know your risk assessment. And any other performance of any other. This is just a residual extra point, okay? So tell me, what was the question? Prior to identification and assessment of ROMM, before doing formally any risk of material misstatement identification and assessment, this we will study in essay 315. Am I teaching you essay 315 right now? I am teaching you what? Essay 300 before 315. So in 315 we do this. But before we are doing this, we can do planning. Essay number 300. So prior to auditor's identification and assessment of risk of material misstatement, planning needs to consider the following matters. First, general understanding, that is, entity is legal, regulatory, and complying with those legal and regulatory or not. Gather all the information. Remember Gayatri and leather, okay? Whenever you are trying to remember this answer, what will you remember? Gayatri has become famous now. Everyone will remember Gayatri if this question comes in exam, okay? So Gayatri and leather, everyone remember. So Gayatri has come with a leather company file to me. I will first understand the leather industry. Okay. Then I will see whether I need any experts to check the leather. Then in leather industry, what is materiality? What is important? What is not important? I need to get that information. Then I need to see Gayatri's financials, basic P&L balance sheet, and do the analysis to find major risks and performance of any other risk that is necessary. Answer is clear? So most of the students leave this answer. It does not come in the category of a very important answer. Okay, so most of the students have this habit of leaving this answer. Will you leave this answer? Will you leave this answer? No. Good. It's easy. Very good. So analytical procedure as RAP, general understanding of legal and regulatory framework of entity and how it is complying, determination of materiality, involvement of experts, performance of RAP. So if you can't remember in this flow, you can remember in my flow. Okay? If you change the order, it's okay. It's not any list or steps. It's normal. So if you change the order, that's completely okay. So if you want to remember in this way, you can remember in this way. So you can write like this if you want. This to be 1, then materiality 2, sorry, experts 2, materiality 3, this is 4, this is 5. So if you want to remember like this also, it's completely your choice. Whatever you feel is easy for you, do that, okay? Whatever you feel is easy for you, you can follow that. So we have done 2 big answers. Why planning is necessary. Nature of planning is a continuous and iterative process. So we are done with this part. Now there is some general theory. We'll check the general theory, okay? Now, risk assessment procedures. Pay attention. Now, risk assessment procedure, you remember stationery vegetable shop, right? To understand risk of a stationery shop and to understand, so remember, stationery and vegetable shop example, okay? Just remember stationery and vegetable shop example. So to identify risk assessment karne ka matlab, what does it mean by risk assessment? It means I obtain understanding of the entity, its environment, including its internal control, so that I can identify and I assess the risk of material misstatement. This much do you understand? What does it mean by risk assessment procedure? Means any procedures. Why is it performed? Okay, so I'll just break down the definition for you. Pay attention. Risk assessment procedure. What is it? It's an audit procedure. What is it? It's an audit procedure. Why is it done? It's done to obtain, sorry, to obtain, to obtain what? To obtain what? To obtain understanding of entity, its environment, plus its internal controls. Okay. Then why I want to obtain this understanding? So that I can identify and assess risk of material misstatement. Okay. Risk of material misstatement where? At financial statement level or assertion level. Assertion we will study in detail. It's a very big topic, so I cannot teach you quickly because I will not be able to do justice. But just to remember right now, financial statement as a whole means, first it means something that can affect all the balance sheet and all the P&L. That is called as financial statement as a whole. But if something can affect only valuation of stock, it is not affecting everything, it's only affecting valuation, then we'll say assertion. So something is risky. So suppose, let's say I am a big business. Okay. I am a big business and only my unsecured loans have ROMM. Rest everything is okay. Does it mean that whole financial statement has risk of material misstatement? Only my unsecured loans have risk of material misstatement, but the whole financial statement does not have risk of material misstatement. Does it mean the whole financial statement has? No. But does it mean that at individual level there is risk? So pura financial statement, whole financial statement is not wrong or it does not have risk. But some individual items can have risk, yes or no? So as an auditor, do I check only things that can affect fully, or I check individual things and sometimes they can add up and become material as a whole? Is it possible? Sometimes small risks can become big risk, yes or no? Can small risk become big risk in total? Yes. So as an auditor, do I check risk only that will affect the whole financial statement, or I check risk that is associated with each asset, each liability, each transaction? As an auditor, you will check both. Very good. Individually all. So we will check risk associated with each level also and as the whole also. Is that clear? Okay. Now, as of now, you think of assertion means individual level. Is that clear? Individual asset level, individual liability level, individual transaction level. Now, let's see the definition. What is risk assessment procedure? Simple, ma'am. It's an audit procedure. Why is it done? To obtain something. What do you want to obtain? Understanding of entity, its environment, and entity's internal control. Why you want to obtain? So that I can identify and assess risk of material misstatement. Where is risk of material misstatement? At financial statement level as a whole, or at individual assertion level. Is everyone clear? You can note down this, okay? This is how you have to remember the definition. Link create karna hai, like Rajiv sir said, linkage method, okay? Risk assessment procedure, what is it? Audit procedure. क्यों है? To obtain. क्या obtain करना है? Understanding. किसकी understanding? Of entity. Whose understanding? Entity, its environment, its internal control. Why we have to obtain? to identify and assess risk of material misstatement. Where is risk? Financial statement level or assertion level? Done? Okay. Quickly tell me, let me know a thumbs up. Till now, everything is clear? Okay. Good. Thank you. Now, all these things are for understanding only. Okay. Therefore, planning includes this you have to learn. Risk assessment procedures needs to be learned. Therefore, planning includes consideration of matters such as obtaining knowledge about legal framework in which companies are operating. For example, telecom companies and banks. Achha, without looking, what is the regulatory body of banks? Who is the regulatory body of banks? RBI. Who is the regulatory body of telecommunication companies? Phone companies? TRAI. Who is the regulatory body for insurance companies? For insurance companies, IRDA. So if I want to audit an insurance companies, do I need complete and good knowledge of IRDA regulations and Insurance Act? Yes. Okay, so this is just to give you some examples. Planning also needs to consider determination of materiality, it considering experts, it involves need for performing risk assessment procedure. Where is this answer from? Here. Can you see this same points? It's written here. So do you need to learn this? Nothing to be learned. Okay, that's it. Now, planning is not a separate or distinct phase. It is a continuous and repetitive process. Yes, stockbrokers, SEBI. All right. So let's go to the next part. So for this, I will teach you some terminology. Pay attention. So whenever we receive any consignment or assignment from our client, what do we call it? We call it an engagement. Yes or no? That we have received an engagement from our client. Okay. To execute this engagement, we create an engagement team. To execute it, we create an engagement team. So suppose client is Green Clean Private Limited is my client. And my CA firm name is ABC and Associates. My CA firm name is ABC and Associates. We have three partners, Miss A, Miss B, and Mr. C. Three partners we have. Now, all three partners will start doing audit of Green Clean. All three partners gone. We all three will sit and audit one client. No. So A, B, and C amongst themselves will choose one CA who will do and who will be the leader of this audit. Yes or no? So suppose they choose Miss B will be the leader of this audit. This we called as engagement partner. Understood? So who is the highest authority in an engagement team? Who is the highest authority in engagement team? Miss B, engagement partner. Okay? Miss B is the highest authority. Now under Miss B, there can be some full-time employees, like some CAs could be there, some articles could be there, some graduates can be there. All these people together will make our engagement team. So if Green Clean has given audit to whom? ABC and Associates. ABC and Associates have three partners, Miss A, Miss B, Mr. C. They three have decided that Miss B will handle Green Clean. So if client has to contact, who will the client contact? The client will contact Miss B. So Miss B becomes our engagement partner. So engagement partner is nothing but the main partner of the firm who is responsible for the audit or the engagement. Okay. And under Miss B, they will select some employees of the CA firm who will create an engagement team. Do you understand this? Okay. Now, during planning, do you think the engagement partner should be involved during the planning? Do you think the engagement partner should be involved during the planning? Yes. So, next answer is also obvious. The engagement partner and other key members shall, may, it is not written may, no, shall means compulsory, be involved in planning the audit, including planning and participating in discussion amongst engagement team members. The involvement, how much they will be involved in planning, depends on their experience, their insight. Okay. But it will improve the effectiveness and efficiency of the planning. So, engagement partner and other key members should be involved. This is again for understanding. Okay. That's it. Now, this is very interesting. The next point. So, suppose I am the auditor of an entity. Can I discuss my plan with management? That we are planning to come on this date. We are planning to send 10 people to your company. We are planning to complete the audit by this date. We are planning to visit all your stock on XYZ. Can I discuss if I want to discuss? Can I do this? Yes, I have told you again and again, we are not investigating CID or FBI or CBI. We need cooperation of the management. Because if I do a surprise, see, you can do some surprise elements you can keep, that is okay. But overall plan needs to be told so that they can keep the files available and ready. They can keep the people informed. They can tell the managers audit is starting next today. This week they are doing all the assets and liabilities. Next week they are going to focus on the visit part and stock part. So auditor may decide. Here it is written shall or may. Is it written shall discuss? No. So is it compulsory to discuss? No. So auditor may, I can take the decision how much I want to discuss. Okay. So you have to use your judgment that how much do you want to discuss. So auditor may decide to discuss elements of planning with entities management to facilitate the conduct and management of audit engagement. It is to include overall strategy, plan, but don't compromise the effectiveness. So if you feel that if I reveal something and it may decrease the reliability of some evidence or it may cause problem in risk assessment, then don't share things. So that you have to decide on your own that what I can share, what I can't share. There is no checklist that this you can share, this you can't share. There's no checklist. That auditor has to take decision as per the situation. Okay. All right. We'll take a 10 minutes break here. Everyone. All right. Yes, 10 minutes break, okay? All right. All visible, audible, everything clear? All of you are back? Quickly let me know you're back. All right. Okay, got your break? Got a little refreshed? Very theory heavy today? Okay. All right. So now actually we are going to see what is the process of planning. Till now we have been discussing planning, but how actually what to do in planning. Okay, we have discussed benefits, we have discussed what to consider before planning, all that we have discussed. But what is the process of planning? What are the elements of planning? Let's do that. Pay attention here. So tell me first a question that suppose you are auditor of a client for past 3 years, okay? And fourth year also, they want you to continue as a auditor. Do you think it is always default assumed that we have to continue with our old clients? Or do you think with old clients also we have to do some process before continuing the work with them? Do you think we have to do some process with old clients also to continue their work? If I want to continue doing some work with old client, so if my past 3 years experience have had some negative points, can I discuss with my client before continuing the work? Can I clarify it? So when we talk about planning, is it only for new clients? When I talk about planning, is it only for new clients or it can be for old clients also for whom we are continuing work? For all. Very good. Simple. For all engagements. Simple. It is for all engagements. So whenever you imagine, don't just imagine it's only for new clients. It is for all clients, old and new. Okay. So if we talk about planning process, or we can call elements of planning, it is divided into two main things. Two main things it is divided into. Preliminary engagement activity and then planning activities. Then planning activities is divided into two. Establishing audit strategy and developing audit plan. See, basics of planning processes. Before we start or before we even accept someone's work, planning to come secondary. Before I even accept your engagement, before I agree to do your work, what do I need to do? Before I agree to accept or continue engagement. And this is usually after acceptance of engagement. Okay. This is just for your understanding. Okay. Don't write it anywhere in exam. This is just to explain to you. What is a preliminary engagement activity? That before I even accept to continue your work, that is preliminary engagement activity. Planning activities after I have accepted the engagement. What are the first steps I have to take? That is planning activity. So first, we will see preliminary engagement activity in detail. Okay. Let's see preliminary engagement activity in detail. Okay. What does it mean? And this you will mark as very, very important. This theory answer is very, very, very important. So what does it mean by preliminary engagement activity? So the first step is performing procedures. What procedures I need to perform? I have to perform procedures as per SA 220. What procedure as per SA 220? Regarding continuance of client relationship and audit engagement. So, what does it mean? That before preliminary engagement activity means before engagement, okay? So, before I can continue my work with any client, I have to perform some procedures. Now, what are those procedures? Those procedures are given in detail in essay 220, which we will study in chapter 11 last, okay? So, before I can do all that, I have to test four main things. How to test it? First, I have to test integrity of principal owners, key management, and TCWG. आ गया TCWG. Word is here, okay? Now, what does it mean? Pay attention. Suppose one client has come to me, Mr. Don. Okay, Mr. Don has come to me and he tells me, I have export import work, madam. Okay, I have export import work. What export import? Anything we will export and import, madam. Now you have come to know that Mr. Don has a very bad reputation in the market. He has reputation that he does lot of money laundering work. He does a lot of cash parking in another countries. All these kind of wrong, illegal works and all he do. Will you accept the work of such person? Even if he offers you 1 crore salary, 1 crore fees? No. Why? Because if I sign on it, my degree can go away. Yes or no? If I sign on a person, on that person's audit report, I will take huge risk with my degree. And also, if you don't have even basic trust on the values and ethics on integrity of owners, if you see them and ye to tedha aadmi hai, this person is chalu, this person is not correct. Can you trust even one bill that comes from them? Can you trust even one bill that comes from that person? Can you trust anything that person says? Then can you do audit? Because we to have to do audit in coordination with management, right? So if I can't have basic trust in management, can I do audit? I will be doubtful and suspicious the whole time about everything. So the first thing I have to see before I accept or continue a client, what do I have to check? That what is the integrity of the main owners, key management, and TCWG, right? Like Tatas were very famous for integrity. Yes or no? What was the base? What was their business reputation? They were very reputed that they are a company with lot of value system, that they are an ethical company. Yes or no? So if the integrity is not trustable, then will you accept that work? If the integrity of the main owners is not acceptable, no. So as a preliminary engagement activity, what will we check? We will check integrity of the client. Okay. Then what will I check? I have checked integrity of the client, and then I will check competence of my own team. What does it mean? Suppose the client is very good. Okay. The client is a very good client. Their business is good. Their business values are good. Their practices are good. But I am a new CA with one staff. And that client is telling me to handle a listed company alone. Do you think I have competence? Competence means what? I have good people, I have resources, and I have time to finish the work. So, before you accept any work, see yourself. Do I have enough qualified staff to finish that work? Do I myself have knowledge to finish this work? Do I have resources and time to give to this client to do this work properly? So what is a preliminary engagement activity? Client, see the client and then see yourself. First judge the client. Okay, client is good. Then judge yourself. The client is very good, but am I good for the client? So if you feel that you won't be able to do a good job for the client, don't accept it. Or either create such staff, then accept the job. Okay. So check the competence of your own team. Next important thing is discuss any matters arisen during current and previous engagement. What does it mean? Suppose client is good. Client integrity is okay only. My integrity is also okay. My competence is also there. Everything is okay. But when I worked with them last time, they were very dependent on their manager, and that manager was half of the time on leave. So I had to struggle a lot to get the files. So should I discuss this time? That, sir, if you want me to continue with work, either ask your manager to give me files every day, or if he is on leave, give me another person who will do my work. Yes or no? Can I discuss these matters? That, sir, either give me a proper staff who will do the work. So can I discuss any previous matters? They are having integrity. I am also competent, but some problems have come last time. Discuss it. So this is a preliminary engagement activity. And last important thing, pay attention. So suppose Nidhi is there and Rashmi is there. Okay. Nidhi, suppose you, Mr. Don has come to you for audit. But previously, the auditor of Mr. Don was Rashmi. Okay. What is the example? That who is the previous auditor of Mr. Don? Rashmi is the previous auditor. This time he has gone to whom? This time Mr. Don has gone to whom? He has gone to Nidhi. Nidhi ji, please do my audit. Okay. Now, whoever has studied already in previous batches, please don't give the answers in this thing. Okay. Only fresh students who have not studied this anywhere and are studying for the first time, you only think and tell me answers. Okay. So, fourth point I have not come only. I'm going to write the fourth point I have not written yet, Bhavani. So my question is, does Nidhi needs to take permission from Rashmi before she can accept the new client's work? Does Nidhi need to take permission from Rashmi? Yes, it is compulsory. So in our professional ethics under CA Act 1949, it's a rule that as an auditor, you need to take NOC You have to do communication with the predecessor auditor, previous auditor, and ask them before you can accept a current assignment. It is mandatory, no exception to the rule. It is extremely compulsory. So communication with predecessor auditor. You can also ask the auditor if there are anything. If, okay, Navneet, no issue. So, that's what I know. I know that you have studied already. Okay. I want them to reply from their common sense. Okay. So that is the point. So that you use that what will be there. And then I tell you what the book is. Okay. Then that is the fun. Okay. So communication with predecessor auditor, you can also ask them what were the major issues you faced during the audit. If the predecessor auditor has not given true and fair view, they have given some other opinion, you can ask them what was the reason or why they have they paid you all the fees. All that communication you can do, but primarily you have to take permission from them. So all this work you have to do before you accept the engagement. Can I do like this? That, sir, okay, I accept the engagement. I have sent an NOC. Once I receive the NOC, I will give you the report. But let me just start doing the vouchers. Is it possible? I have sent the NOC. Permission is not yet received. Let me just do auditors. No. So can I even touch the audit before I receive NOC? No, you cannot do any work unless NOC is received. You can't even do planning, nothing. Okay, there was some question. Ma'am, do we have to tell this about client? Yeah, because client will only give you the address and everything about the auditor, right? Client will only have to give. NOC means no objection certificate. NOC means no objection certificate. So client usually knows, and we have to tell the client, because I have to tell them that I want to do your work, but I'm waiting for NOC. Okay. It is applicable on all types of audit where opinion is to be given, Rahul. Where an auditor has to give his UDIN, his assurance, his signature, an opinion, he needs to take the NOC. Okay, Rahul? Okay. Any other doubt till now? Ma'am, if previous auditor keeps rejecting it for any selfish reasons, is there any remedy for it? You can go to ICAI, but you still can't accept the audit till you receive NOC. Okay? You can go to ICAI, you can present the case, then you can fight the case, but technically, there is no exception to it. So if the previous auditor, whether intentionally, unintentionally, is not giving you NOC, then you cannot accept the work. Okay? Bhavani saying, please explain the third point. So it means that whenever I am doing any engagement, if suppose Bhavani, you are my client for past 3 years, you are telling me to continue the work for 4th year. So I can discuss previous matters with you that Bhavani, last year you gave me all the data in the last 5 days. This year, if you want to work with me, you have to give me data at least 2 months before. So all these discussions you should finish with your client before you start current year's work. Is that clear, Bhavani? This is what it means. Bhavani is clear, then I can move to the next point. Okay. Next is why we have to take NOC. Very interesting. So Diksha, our profession, our CA profession is not a business. Institute says that Diksha, Arpita, Bhavani, Akruti, we should not fight for our clients. We are all each other's colleagues, And we should not try to take and snatch client from each other. We have to maintain integrity in our profession. Okay. So, as a goodwill, as a good gesture, it was created that if one client is leaving another CA, then two CAs should discuss with each other before the client comes in the picture. So that is why this rule came, that you first discuss with previous auditor, ensure that there is no problem, and then you take up a new client, so that a professional integrity between us is maintained. So if you are a friend of mine and I'm snatching your clients from you, I will still need your permission. So what does it bring? It brings the integrity in us, that you cannot just take away my client and not talk to me. The institute makes it mandatory that you have to maintain some dignity. You cannot just snatch each other's client. Maintain dignity. Okay. What is the next question? Ma'am, who will plan if engagement partner is not planning? There cannot be an audit without an engagement partner. Okay. Audit cannot happen if there is no engagement partner. And if engagement partner is not planning, it can cause trouble later on, that the audit was done negligently or carelessly. Okay. NOC is mandatory in all things. Vedant, you will get everything as notes. See, I have made these notes for you. So you will get everything. Okay. You don't need screenshot. All right. So everything is there already. So Vedant's point is clear. Next is, ma'am, is there any specific under which it needs to be done? Like we have a financial year, or files can be audited at any time? It depends on what audit you are doing, Arpita. If you are doing tax audit, usually the date is 30th September. So it's different for different types of audit. For bank audits, we have to file LFAR. So usually for that 30th June, by 30th June, we have to do. So it depends on what entity and what financial reporting framework you are auditing under. Balamurugan's question is it only discussion or there is a dependency? Is there a sign needed? Yes. You need a documented, signed with previous auditor's signature and permission to continue work. Okay. Ma'am, give example in which case client changes auditor, past auditor to new one. Many examples. So suppose I was appointed auditor of a bank last year. Okay. Next year, government will appoint someone else. So that new auditor will have to take permission, NOC from me. But we give it. We don't create trouble. Usually, a CA will say no only if there is a fees pending. So ICAI also says that if previous auditor's fees is pending, then they also tell you that you should not accept unless previous auditor's fees is cleared. So usually CAs don't create problem. They also maintain integrity, that okay, if client wants to go, let them go. Your newly formed company who has never did engagement, not necessary to take NOC. Of course, if you are the first auditor, you don't need to take, because no pre-auditor. Ma'am, new auditor has to consult. You don't need to consult, but you need their NOC. Whether you talk in detail with them or not, that is your choice. But you do have to communicate with them regarding previous audit. Okay. Engagement partner can be anyone. They are the lead. Okay. Engagement partner. But word partner is there. It is usually the partner of the firm. The one who will sign the audit report, Manisha. Who can sign the audit report? If I am a qualified CA doing job under another CA, can I sign the audit report, Manisha? So partner is always a partner only. Someone who is partner of the firm. Okay. Then where was I? Next question. Manisha's question is done. Ma'am, NOC for confirming they have no objection, yes. And NOC is to confirm that they have no objection regarding me accepting this engagement. They have no objection, okay? Yes, all of this will be uploaded. Next. Where can we get? I think a previous chapter also they have uploaded on the app. You can find in the app. PDF upload for September 2026. It is uploaded. Notes are uploaded. Previous lectures. टेन्योर कंप्लीट होने पे रिजाइन फ्रॉड इन सब के केस में ऑडिटर चेंज हो सकता है ऑफ कोर्स सो इफ इन द मिडल ऑफ द ईयर आई हैव रिजाइंड and a new auditor is coming, then also NOC is needed. Okay, there are many situations: death of a CA, insolvency of a CA becomes of unsound mind, dissolution of a CA firm gets disqualified, thousands of reasons. Ma'am, if there is a criminal case going between old auditor and client, in this case, he will not be willing to give NOC, then you get the permission from ICAI. For you, the rule is absolute. If you read your CA Act, rule is absolute. Previous auditor communication required. There is no ifs and buts. If this situation not needed, if this situation not needed, nothing like that. Ma'am, if old CA is not giving NOC, the firm can't continue audit. No, you can't. Ma'am, should we be reading this with POV of CAs? I didn't understand your question. Rashmi, TCWG meaning we discussed TCWG for half an hour. I cannot tell you in short, but TCWG means someone who is doing the strategy work, and management is someone who is executing that strategy. So TCWG is like trustees of a school, and the management is like principal of the school. Okay. Ma'am, auditor contract basis पे होते क्या? Gargi, think it like that. If I am employee of a company, am I auditor? If I'm employee of a company, am I an auditor? So obviously, we work on year-to-year basis. Okay. We are professionals. We work on agreement basis. What is the next question? Ma'am, it's uploaded, but not. It has been uploaded. It has been uploaded. Everyone is asking. Ma'am, if a client files a suit, then engagement partner is responsible or the whole CA firm? Primarily engagement partner. So do you remember the Satyam case? Satyam case, do you guys remember? Just know, have you heard the word? So in that, I think PwC was the auditor. So only the engagement partners degree was taken away and they had to pay. Okay. They had to pay. So it's not necessary that the whole firm will go. It depends on the volume of fraud, depends on the court, what judgment they will take. There was one fraud in America called as Enron, in which the whole CA firm collapsed. So it depends on how strict the judgment of the court has come. Okay. Then, yes, you should read audit from a CA's perspective. In case AB and associates both are CAs, but A is senior, so B is not having no. If you're partner, you are partners. If it's AB and associates, if B is also CA, his sign is also valid, A's sign is also valid. What is MOU? What are you talking? That agreement between auditor and client is not MOU. It's called engagement letter. You will not write MOU. If last CA engaged in some fraud and the client changed the auditor due to this, and we need NOC, then so if the class CA was engaged in fraud, how do you say he had fraud done? Fraud means it must have been proven in court. Yes or no? If you're saying engaged in fraud, it should have been proven. Yes or no? Then only you are saying it's fraud, right? So either there must be court order, there must be penalty imposed by the court, there must be a jail term because you're saying criminal fraud and all. So if their degree is taken or if the penalty is imposed, then you can mention the reason for acceptance of engagement that previous auditor was engaged in fraud and hence we need not take its NOC. Okay. If auditor does fraud and fired, then NOC required. Fraud, if proven, then not required. If fraud is proven in court, there is a proper case available. Harshad Mehta scam is not an audit scam. Enron and Satyam is audit scam. Harshad Mehta is an individual person's manipulation. That is very different than audit and accounting scam. Enron fraud was a huge, big fraud. Yes. Okay. Any other question? I think we had 50 questions. 50 questions were there. Anything else? Harshal wants to ask something. Harshal, you can ask.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Harshal.
Ma'am, I joined to this lecture in a 1.5 hour later due to the technical issue on my behalf. Hence, I want to recapture the first point, a benefit of planning and audit and the nature of audit planning. 1 point.
You want me to repeat that?
Kindly.
See, if you have missed it due to technical, I would suggest that once the lecture is uploaded on YouTube, you go through the recording. But if you don't understand, you can ask me in the next lecture. I will answer it. Okay. But I can't repeat the whole because it took us 1 hour to do that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So you go through it, go through my recording. But if you still have doubt, I can definitely resolve for you. Okay.
In a second point, I have doubt with can auditor are joined to the as a engagement with client in a fraud or a error in due to the audit report financial statements frauds some amount or the notes of accounts in their own found fraud in that reports can auditor are also
Be
what we say
blamed.
blamed.
Yeah. So they need to prove it. So if there was a fraud that was found, so let's say Satyam case, okay? So in Satyam case, the fraud was found that the managers or the top management was involved regarding salary fraud and there was cash fraud. A lot of different frauds happen in Satyam case. But then the onus is on the investigating authority to prove that the auditor was involved. And the responsibility on auditor is to show all his audit documentation that, see, I did my job properly only. You may tell me that I was careless, but you have to prove that I knew fraud. So the onus is on the investigating team to prove that I knew about it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am, understood.
So it does not mean that when the client does some fraud and his fraud is found, it does not automatically mean that I knew about it. Okay. So that is why directly you can't say that if the client has done fraud, CA also has done fraud. You have to prove it that CA knew about it and he kept quiet.
Okay, means a proof are required for that identify to
Yes,
the
that is why in Satyam case it took so many years
yeah.
for the auditor's final decision to be taken because the process was done to conclude that whether the auditors were just negligent and careless in doing their work or they were actually involved in fraud. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Ma'am, who monitors auditors' work at the time of audit? If you're doing audit, no one is monitoring your work. But if you're signing on it, the whole world can make you responsible for it. But in In general, NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority, ICAI, all of these people can ask and demand our work and our documentation. Okay, they have power. Chapter 1 query later on. Auditor receives fees in rules written legally, or it depends on audit. You have to decide your fees before you start the audit. Okay, before the audit starts, your fees should already be decided. You cannot say, oh, the work has fees is so less, I'll do less work. Not like that. So usually the fees is decided before the work is started. Okay. Satyam case we'll discuss later on. You study thoda audit or ho jane do, little bit audit you understand more, then you will understand that part more. Because right now you don't understand the company audit, you don't understand ESOP options. So lot of things, lot of technical things we don't understand yet. By the end of the class, by the end of this thing, we'll discuss both. Enron also I'll discuss with you, and I'll discuss Satyam also with you. Okay. But little bit more you become knowledgeable about auditing. Today is only second chapter, right? So right now you're just getting introduced. Fee structure is not fixed. Each company can decide how much to pay you. You can negotiate with them. Any other doubt? Fees is a discussion and negotiation between client and you. It's not you decide what it is dependent on. There is no rule book for it. Like in bank audits, we get fees on the basis of total business in the branch. So it depends on type of audit. If you are auditing, Pushpendra, if you are specifically auditing, let's say, another company, that company and you can decide. Okay. I think we are done. We have taken it, I think 50, 60 questions. Let's move on. So where was I? First chapter doubts will be at the end of the class, not in the middle of second chapter. No, there is no standard for remuneration of auditor. Vedant, there is no standard for remuneration of auditor. There are guidelines, but you can decide to follow it or not follow it. Okay. So preliminary engagement activity. Preliminary engagement activity, first point clear. What do I have to check? I have to check whether I will continue my relationship with the client. How do I check it? Check the integrity, check them. Then check ourselves, that is competence of my team. Then check our relationship, which means any matters that happened previously. And check with previous auditor. 4 things. See if the management is good. See if I have capacity. See our relationship is good, any matters. And see if previous auditor is okay. So by doing these 4 things, you can check. This is the preliminary engagement activity. Second preliminary engagement activity, please pay attention. Second preliminary engagement activity, evaluating compliance with ethical requirements including independence. What does it mean, pay attention? It means that, okay, first I check the client relationship to check ho gaya, all done. Now I have to check whether I am independent enough to accept this audit. What does it mean? Let's say that I have a relative. So suppose, what was this lady? Green Clean. Okay. So Green Clean wants to appoint me as an auditor. Okay. A, B, C and associates. Now, one of the partner's relatives has shares of rupees 10 lakhs in Green Clean Limited? Do you think I'm independent? Do you think it is ethical for me to do audit of Green Clean if my relatives have share of 10 lakh rupees? So do you think before accepting the engagement, preliminary engagement, do you think I should check whether I'm independent or not? So what is the second preliminary engagement activity? Check if you are ethically allowed to be the auditor. Check if you are independent. Okay. So evaluating compliance with ethical requirements, including independence. So ethical requirements are there on us, on which one of the biggest ethical requirement is independence. Now, what do we do? How do we check it? First, check if any threats to independence. In Green Clean Limited, did we find a threat to independence? What was the threat to independence? In Green Clean Limited audit, what was the threat to independence? इंडिपेंडेंस को क्या खतरा था? किस चीज से खतरा था? शेयर होल्डिंग. यस, relative shareholding was a threat to independence. Okay, threat. Now evaluate this threat. ये threat बड़ा है कि छोटा है? Is this threat big or small? Is this a small threat or is this a big threat? So as per Companies Act, if the relative is holding more than 1 lakh rupees, then it is a material point and you cannot be an auditor. So here the law itself has told me that if the relatives are holding more than 1 lakh value of shares, then you are not independent. You are disqualified for being appointed as auditor. So we are evaluating. So we evaluated this threat. So as per this, can we be the auditor now? We have evaluated. So what is the conclusion? No, I cannot be the auditor. But what can I do about it? What can I do? What do you think I can do about this? What do you think I can do about this? Can I go to my relative and tell that please sell the shares? I want to become auditor of this company. Can I do that? Can I ask my relative before accepting engagement, before accepting work? Can I go to the relative and say that you sell the shares now so that when I join the company, there is zero shareholding by relative? Quickly tell me yes or no. Can I go to and request the relative to sell the share? What if relative agrees? Okay, I will sell all the 10 lakh shares. Relative is saying yes, okay. And my relative has sold all the shares. Now the management is sending me engagement letter, and on the day of the engagement letter, there is zero shareholding. Can I become the auditor? But if my relative refuses to sell the shares, then if my relative says, no, I will not sell, then can I become auditor? No. So this is called as take appropriate action. Do you understand that? As per the situation, see what you can do. If you can rectify it, मतलब ठीक कर सकते हो तो ठीक करो. ठीक नहीं कर सकते तो accept मत करो. Okay, if you can accept it, if you can, what to say? If you can rectify the situation, accept it. If you can't rectify the situation, don't accept it. Relative here means your spouse, your brother, your sister, your children, your parents, your grandparents. So there is a definition in Companies Act that you will study, okay? The limit in Companies Act is 1 lakh rupees for relatives. We will study that. You will study that in company audit. Okay. Immediate family members. Yes. For self, zero. If you are a shareholder of even one share, you are not allowed to be an auditor. For self, it's 0. For relative, 1 lakh. So what is the second preliminary engagement activity? Check your independence. Okay. And after checking, how to check it? Check if there is any threats, evaluate it, and then take appropriate action. Finished? What is the third preliminary engagement activity? Ma'am, if I give loan to company, loan limit is 5 lakh. If there is any indebtedness with the company, 5 lakh is the limit. You will study this in Companies Act. There's a 1.5 page list of what you can do and what you can't do. So for loans and guarantee, the limit is 5 lakhs. See, in first chapter, I told you na, that one who knows audit needs to know all other subjects. This is law questions you are asking me. So sometimes you ask me accounts question also. Sometimes you're asking me law questions also. Sometimes you are putting some GST question also. I have to know everything. But will you ask audit questions in law? Will you ask audit questions in law? No. But when we are an auditor, you need to know law also. You need to know tax also. You need to know accounts also. Okay. So just imagine. So if I am an audit teacher, then if I can get all questions, then when you are an auditor in real life, people expect you to know everything. Okay. Ma'am, can be an internal auditor like senior advisor? Yes. But if you are internal auditor for a company, you are like in a job. Then you cannot do any assurance engagement. Okay. For example, I am an auditor. Someone has replied. Let me just finish this answer. Then we will complete. Okay. Let me just last point. So preliminary engagement means performing procedures regarding client relationship, evaluating your ethical requirements. Last one is very easy. Establishing an understanding of terms of engagement. Establishing an understanding, which means send audit engagement letter. Send audit engagement letter before commencement of audit to avoid any misunderstandings. Okay. So what is the third point? Third point is simple. Okay. Third point is simple. That first client relationship. Okay. Client relationship. Okay. Independence. Okay. I'm independent. Okay. Finally, we have to sit together. We have to finalize the terms of engagement and then send audit engagement letter. ऐसे किसके ऊपर applicable है नवनीत? हमारे ऊपर के client के ऊपर. So कौन भेजेगा? किसकी किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टू एंश्योर कि एंगेजमेंट लेटर बने? किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टू एंश्योर कि एंगेजमेंट लेटर हो? So because he asked in Hindi, I'm replying. So for other students, so Navneet is asking who will send whom. So I replied to him that standards of auditing are applicable on whom? They're applicable on us. They are not applicable on the client. So standard of auditing says that there should be audit engagement letter. So auditor has to ensure that audit engagement letter is there. So some companies have a standard format. So they can also send to me. I just have to ensure that proper audit engagement letter is sent. So it depends. So if it's a private client, you both can discuss with each other and send. But when I am doing this statutory audit with banks and all, the engagement letter comes from the bank itself. I just have to ensure that they send it and I sign it and send it. Okay. It's not MOU. Oh God. MOU is not an arrangement to do some work. MOU can also be an arrangement that I will not cross your boundary, you don't cross my boundary. Please don't use the word, it's a contract. Basic, you have studied Indian Contract Act? Have you all studied Indian Contract Act in foundation? Are contracts MOU? MOU may be a type of contract, but are all contracts MOU? No. So we are not studying MOU, we are studying agreements. Agreements are like contracts, not MOU, okay? Please don't use the word MOU anywhere in auditing subject. Okay, all right. So here we are done with very important answer. Ma'am, client relationship is also check if I'm government auditor and I have shares or bond of government. So it depends. So government auditor means, are you auditor of a government company, or are you auditor of government autonomous body, or are you government of government department? So if I'm auditor of government department like post department, then it depends. If I'm auditor of a government company, so suppose if I'm auditor of Bank of Baroda, and if in Bank of Baroda specifically I have shares, or if I have, let's say, indebtedness of more than 5 lakh rupees, then I will be disqualified. But if I have shares of Punjab National Bank and I'm auditor of BOB, both are government, but will I be disqualified? I won't be disqualified. So you have to use your logic accordingly. All right, so we are done. This is a very, very important answer. So if you'll see here, let's come to the book. Planning process, preliminary engagement activity. Preliminary engagement activity, planning process, elements of planning. Please pay attention. We have to perform procedures regarding continuance, check compliance of ethical requirements, including independence and understanding. Please mark this as very, very important, most important. Okay, preliminary engagement. Arpita is asking if I have account in BOB. Account is okay. Account is savings. Now I have given money. There's no loan. There's only deposits. That's okay. But if I have a huge credit card bill, or if I have loan with BOB, it can affect my this thing. So when you become auditor of a bank, you have to give an indebtedness certificate. So if in that indebtedness it is shown that I have a loan with bank, then it can cause problem. Okay. And BOB is a company. Arpita has asked the question, if you have account in Bank of Baroda and they are asked for audit. So if I have loan in Bank of Baroda, I can't do the audit. Okay, Josh? If I have loan, like car loan, MSME loan, home loan with BOB, I can't do the audit. Basically, I have to do declaration. Okay, now come to preliminary engagement activities. All of this I have finished. So continuation of client, acceptance and continuation. So firm should obtain information regarding necessary. So all this is general point, okay? This part is general. Point comes here, integrity, competence, integrity of owners, competence of engagement team, matters that have happened during current and previous audit, then communication with predecessor auditor. So I have converted all this into that flow chart. Then you have to check compliance with ethical requirements. You have to check independence. Independence means judgment is not subordinate to the wishes and direction of another person who might have engaged him. Do you remember where we studied it? We studied in chapter number 1. Okay, judgment is not subordinate. So throughout the engagement, auditor has to make observations relevant. So you have to make sure that there is no all ethical requirements, no non-compliance has happened. How do you do that? Obtain information to identify any threats to independence, evaluate information if there is any breach and whether it has created any threat, and then take appropriate action to either eliminate the threat or reduce them, and if considered appropriate, withdraw from the engagement. Okay. So take whatever is the correct action that is required. And then establishing an understanding, if it is in the interest of both the entity and that auditor sends an audit engagement letter before the commencement of audit to help avoid any misunderstandings. Therefore, there is no confusion with the client. That's it. So this point is finished. Okay. All right. That's it. Now we have next. Now I'll be taking all the doubts. We have already reached the end of the class. Bhavani has asked, what doubt have you asked Bhavani? I can't see any doubt. Now all of you can raise hands and just ask your doubt. Quickly, I'll just revise what we have studied, then we can go into the doubts. So if you will see, we started the chapter. This is essay number 300. What are the benefits of effective planning? Attention to important areas, resolve potential problems, organize and manage audit in efficient, effective manner, appropriate selection of team members, direction and supervision, coordination of work. All this we finished. Auditing is not a discrete phase of audit, but continual and iterative process. Prior to auditor's identification of risk assessment, what do you have to consider? General understanding, then involvement of expert, materiality. Remember Gayatri and leather, okay? Then analytical procedure as risk assessment and performance of other risk assessment. Then planning process has multiple elements: preliminary engagement activity, planning activity, establishing overall audit strategy and developing audit plan. Then preliminary engagement activity, how to check, very, very important. Perform procedure regarding continuance of client relationship. How do we check client relationship? Integrity of them, competence of us, relationship between us, communication with predecessor auditor. Okay. Then evaluating compliance with ethical requirements, including independence. How? Obtain relevant information regarding threats, evaluate the information, and then take appropriate action. And lastly, establishing an understanding in respect to terms of engagement. Send audit engagement letter before commencement to avoid any misunderstanding. That's it. Okay. Rest we will continue tomorrow. We have a brand new topic. All right. Now let's start with the questions. First, let me see. Ma'am, if shareholder is a wife of auditor, then auditor wants to tell his wife to leave your shares, then audit will be done or not after she leaves shares. Yes. If the wife has sold the shares, she's in the definition of relative, you can do it. For example, if I am an auditor, my brother is director of ABC company, but you don't have any share capital, can you do audit? No. If your relative is a director, you can't. Next. Ma'am, I have a general question. Is digital learning hub important for us for course? Sorry, I don't think I am the right person for this question. I don't think I'm the right person. I think someone from Board of Studies will be able to answer your question. So sorry, Arpita. So because this is regarding some technical point of ICAI, so I think Board of Studies will be the right person. Okay, next, Harshal, you can ask your first question.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I have a question with a case study given in a page number 1.33 of a model.
I don't have chapter number 1 right now with me. One second. I think it's there in my notes.
Yeah, study second, and that
Yeah, yeah. In study material, which page number?
1.33, ma'am.
1.33. Okay.
In that case study
Hmm.
2, in that I solved the questions.
Hmm.
While I solving the question, the
Hmm.
fifth number question is difficult to me to be solved, and hence I not answer to this question at
Fifth
the
question.
fifth number.
Okay. You all want to understand this question? Fifth one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you know the question, right? It's about the bank has told the client about something. Client has come to you asking for some details and reports, right? So suppose CAP also accepts the work of issuing projected financial statements. Is projected financial statement a type of assurance engagement? Yes. Okay. With a report to be signed by him. The management has projected a turnover of 100 crore for next year, 150 crore and 200 crore for following years, as compared to present turnover of 25 crores in current half year. So, suppose he has gone for taking loan in September 2025. It's in the middle of the year. Right now,
Yes.
what is the turnover? 25 crores. Okay. And what is the projected turnover for, let's say, 2026? 100, then 150, then 200, like this. Okay. Identify the most appropriate statements. CAP has to satisfy himself regarding arithmetical accuracy. CAP has to satisfy himself regarding reasonableness of assumptions underlying projected turnover and its consistency with actuals. CAP has to satisfy himself regarding arithmetical accuracy of data along with its proper presentation. CAP has to satisfy himself regarding reasonable of assumptions, its consistency with actuals, proper disclosure, proper presentation. So if I am being told, so firstly I can take up an assignment to do projected work. Yes, we already studied that. Okay. I
Yes.
can do the projected. But in that projected, do I certify the projected financial statements? No. I just check whether the calculation of that projected financial statement is reasonable. Yes or no? So
Yes.
what do I check in it? Do I check the arithmetical accuracy? No. Do I
No.
check only assumptions? No. Do I check arithmetical accuracy? तो है ही नहीं. तो हम क्या check करते हैं? What do we check? I check how did you calculate 100 crores? What assumptions you took? Does that assumption appear to be reasonable? Is it consistent every year, or are you changing your assumptions every year? Is it disclosed correctly, and is it present correctly? Do you understand now, Harshal?
Yes, ma'am. Understood. Clearly.
Hmm. Next, Manisha.
Yes, ma'am. Am
Why
I
is my
audible?
screen not getting shared? 1 second. Harshal, you couldn't see my screen. I was actually sharing the screen with you. Okay. 1 second. Now it's visible? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
So,
Am I audible?
Manisha. Yes, Manisha.
So, ma'am, in the example of Bank of Baroda, if I have taken loan from it, so can I do the audit after declaration, after
So, if
giving
you're a
declaration?
concurrent, so suppose if you want to do concurrent audit, then that will depend on the bank policy if they will allow you or not. But if you are a statutory auditor, that is a yearly auditor, that time you can't, because at that time company law rules and RBI rules will have to be followed. Okay.
And
So it
what does
depends on what
concurrent
kind of
mean?
audit. Concurrent means regular audit, daily basis audit. So when I'm
Okay,
going,
ma'am.
it's like
And another,
I'm appointed by bank, that before the statutory auditor comes and points all our mistake, you come and check our work every day and give us report so that we can
okay, ma'am.
improve. They are concurrent auditors.
O-
So it
Another
depends on the type
question.
of audit. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me.
So, my another question is, if my relative is in relation with my client somehow, be it a
Hmm.
stakeholder or
Some
a
way, they are in
employee,
business with them, something. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So if my relative on my behalf, if I'm telling him that quit your job or whatever you are doing with my client, so can I do the audit if he agrees to this?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can.
my
You
relative
can.
agrees to my
You can.
conditions.
Yeah, you can. If on the appointment date there is no relationship, you can.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Josh, Josh, you
Hello,
can.
good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Josh.
Ma'am, I have two queries. First of all, in the first chapter,
Hmm.
page number
Hmm.
122,
1.2.
टेस्ट योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग में जो है एक केस स्टडी दी है जीवा प्रोडक्ट्स की।
एक सेकेंड।
उसमें जी
हाँ, बोलो।
जी मैम, मुझे इसमें ये प्रॉब्लम था कि जो
Hmm.
लास्ट लाइन दी है इसमें, एन ऑडिट रिपोर्ट वाज सबमिटेड टू द फर्म गिविंग एन ओपिनियन दैट फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट रिफ्लेक्ट्स ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू ऑफ स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर ऑफ द फर्म। मतलब ये इनके रेगुलर सीए थे, तो
जी।
इन्होंने सबमिट कर दिया कि जो
Hmm.
रिपोर्ट्स हैं वो वेरीफाइड हैं, जो
Hmm.
परचेज वगैरह की थी। और फिर लेटर ऑन
Hmm.
मैम उसके जो परचेज बिल्स थे उनमें कुछ वो आ गया, मतलब
हाँ,
फॉल्ट्रीज आ गई। तो उस
हाँ।
पर ब्लेम के ऑडिटर पे आएगा? मतलब
नहीं
जो
आएगा
लास्ट
इस
क्वेश्चन है।
केस में। नहीं आएगा। Why I tell you, first two sentences देखो, okay? Auditor जो है, they check the internal control systems of the company. Yes. They carried
यस।
out the required procedures. They did all the necessary verifications. They did proper sample checking of purchases. They even traced the bills to GST portal. They even got confirmations from suppliers, which means I have obtained reasonable assurance by finding sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Yes. Now, if after that some fake
यस
purchases are
मैम।
found, I cannot know whether the address is real or not. So, in this case, it will be very difficult to prove that auditor has not exercised due diligence because these lines prove that auditor has done that job. So,
ओके
in
सो
this
मैम,
case, auditors will not be
जी
blamed.
ओके मैम। सो मतलब मैम, जो हमारा जो एंगेजमेंट लेटर होगा तो उसमें तो हम यस रीजनेबल ही डालते हैं, तो उसका मतलब हमारे ऑडिटर पे कुछ भी वो नहीं आएगा, है ना?
हाँ, अनलेस एंड अनटिल, सो आपको अपनी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पक्की रखनी है कि मैंने अपना काम किया है। जो भी स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ ऑडिटिंग मुझे बोलता है, मैंने वो सारा प्रोसेस फॉलो किया है। देखिए मेरे पास ऑडिट प्लान है, देखिए मेरे पास ऑडिट चेकलिस्ट है, देखिए मैंने प्रॉपरली रिस्क कैलकुलेट किया है, देखिए मैंने प्रॉपरली ऑडिट
जी
प्रोसीजर्स परफॉर्म किए हैं। तो अगर आपने अपना काम अच्छे से किया और आपके पास उसका डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी। ठीक है।
ओके मैम, एक क्वेरी छोटा सा और है। तो मैम, क्या
हम्म।
ऐसा पॉसिबल है कि इनकी डेली चेकिंग में भी क्या कोई पार्टी जो ई इनवॉइस वगैरह है जो वो
ई वे
फेक
बिल।
बना सकते हैं?
ई वे बिल की
जी
बात
मैम, वो
कर रहे हो या
फेक बन सकते हैं? मैम कुछ
ई
भी,
वे
मतलब
बिल्स?
हम फेक
हाँ,
की
हाँ,
बात कर रहे
देखो
हैं।
अभी रिसेंटली एक्चुअली बहुत बड़ा केस आया है इस पे कि जैसे किसी कुछ बैंक अकाउंट्स होते हैं ना जो जनधन योजना वगैरह में बनाए जाते हैं,
जी जी
जिनके पास ज्यादा नॉलेज नहीं होता है इंटरनेट बैंकिंग वगैरह का, उनके केवाईसी चुरा के उनके एड्रेसेस के नाम के जीएसटी बिल बन जाते हैं। तो अभी एक रिसेंटली बंदा
ओ,
था जिस 15-20 हजार रुपए की सैलरी है, किसी ने उनके नाम की जीएसटी वो बनवा ली, जीएसटी नंबर।
ओके।
तो ये क्यों हो सकता है? क्योंकि ऑफिसर लेवल पे कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुई होगी, या ऑफिसर ने विजिट करके वेरीफाई नहीं किया होगा, केवाईसी वेरिफिकेशन नहीं किया होगा, बायोमेट्रिक वेरिफिकेशन
जी
नहीं किया
मैम।
होगा। सो कुछ लैप्स हुआ है इंटरनल कंट्रोल पे, और उसके वजह से एक इनोसेंट पर्सन के नाम पे जीएसटी रजिस्टर हो गई। अब उसको नोटिस आ रहे हैं जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट से, वो बोल रहा है मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है। तो ये भी एक एग्जाम्पल हो गया। तो यानी कि कोई तो है ना जो उसके
जी
नाम के जीएसटी बिल दे रहा है। अब मैं एज एन
यस
ऑडिटर
मैम।
मुझे कैसा पता चलेगा कि ये जीएसटी वाला जेन्युइन है या बेस लेवल पे फ्रॉड हुआ हुआ है? समझे आप? तो ये सब फ्रॉड हो सकता है।
जी यस मैम। मैम एक क्वेश्चन और था, जो कि भी आपने
हम्म।
मैम बताया था कि जो भी आपके रिलेटिव्स वगैरह हैं, अगर
हम्म।
उनके पास कुछ स्टेक्स वगैरह हैं किसी फर्म में या कंपनी में प्राइवेटली
हम्म।
लिमिटेड में, तो वो किसी भी तरह के उसमें रोल नहीं ले सकते। तो मैम, जैसे कि जो भी हम जो ऑडिटर भी होगा, अगर इन केस अगर मान लीजिए वो किसी गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज में जैसे आईआरसीटीसी वगैरह के शेयर्स वगैरह लेते हैं, तो वो उनकी
हम्म।
बेनिफिट भी नहीं ले सकते और कल को उनके ऑडिट्स भी नहीं कर सकते?
वो देखो गवर्नमेंट की बात अलग हो गई, गवर्नमेंट में इंडिविजुअली देखना पड़ेगा आपको। अब आईआरसीटीसी की क्या आप सर्विसेज यूज नहीं कर सकते? ऐसा नहीं होता। तो जब आप कंपनीज एक्ट पढ़ोगे तो उसमें एक बिजनेस रिलेशनशिप का क्लॉज आता है। तो अगर आपका आर्म्स लेंथ पे कोई बिजनेस हो रहा है, सो फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे पास इंडिगो का ऑडिट है, लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल, नहीं है, सिर्फ एग्जांपल, अगर मेरे पास इंडिगो का ऑडिट है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि मैं इंडिगो की
जी
फ्लाइट्स
मैम।
नहीं दे सकती. So
जी
there is a, basic common sense used when these laws are applied. So you will study that in detail in company law. कि जब business relationship होता है, जो relationship इस वजह से exist करता है because the business is at large. It's used by multiple people in our country and the business happens on daily basis at arm's length price. Then उस चीज को हम individual business को business की category में नहीं लाएंगे. इस लॉ का पर्पस ये है जश, कि आपके पिताजी और मैं अगर कोई बिजनेस में है, या मेरे पिताजी और आपके पिताजी किसी बिजनेस में है, और वो एक दूसरे से रेगुलर टर्नओवर एक्सचेंज करते हैं, बहुत पुराना रिलेशनशिप है, तो क्या ये इंडिपेंडेंस को अफेक्ट कर सकता है? कर सकता है. तो अब उस सिचुएशन में हमें बिजनेस रिलेशनशिप को ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मैं कोलगेट का टूथब्रश यूज करती हूँ तो मैं कोलगेट का ऑडिट नहीं कर सकती. ओके.
ओके मैम, मैम इट्स क्लियर।
ओके, ऑल राइट.
ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम।
Next question is Pooja, Miss Pooja. Pooja, you can ask your question.
गुड इवनिंग मैम।
Good evening, Pooja.
मैम, ये जो टेस्ट योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग 4 है, इसमें आपने कहा कि अगर हम डॉक्यूमेंट प्रॉपरली मतलब सही से तैयार करते हैं तो कोई भी मतलब लीगल एक्शन नहीं होगा। लेकिन मैम क्या मतलब ये जो
ये
डॉक्यूमेंट है
कोर्ट
इसके ऊपर
डिसाइड करेगी. कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगी. मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ कि बाय डिफॉल्ट क्या मेरे ऊपर आरोप लग सकता है? बाय डिफॉल्ट नहीं लग सकता. अब अगर वो किसी तरीके से कोर्ट में प्रूव कर देते हैं वो बात अलग है. बट अगर मैंने डॉक्यूमेंटेशन किया है, मैंने कंट्रोल सिस्टम चेक किया है, मैंने सारे प्रोसीजर किए हैं, सारे नेसेसरी वेरिफिकेशन किए हैं, सारी सैंपल चेकिंग प्रॉपरली की है, जीएसटी में चेकिंग की है, कंफर्मेशन भी मंगवाया, तो मैंने मेरी तरफ से जो भी स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ ऑडिटिंग में लिखा था मैंने तो सारा प्रोसेस फॉलो किया है. तब क्या बाय डिफॉल्ट माना जाएगा कि मैंने अपना काम अच्छे से नहीं किया? नहीं. अब कोर्ट में जाकर क्या डिसीजन निकलता है वो ना मैं कंट्रोल कर सकती हूँ ना तुम. बट बाय डिफॉल्ट एज पर हम जो पढ़ रहे हैं उस हिसाब से क्या मैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल हूँ? नहीं. ओके.
मैम माय क्वेश्चन इज कि वो जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन हम कर रहे हैं, क्या उस पे कोई और साइन करेगा या किसी और की वो होगी, या
नहीं
फिर
नहीं
वो हमारा
नहीं,
खुद का ही होगा?
वो हमारा पर्सनल होता है. हम ऐसे 230 में पढ़ेंगे, एक चैप्टर है आपका ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन. तो जो ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन होता है वो पूरी तरीके से हमारी प्रॉपर्टी होती है.
तो उसमें मतलब किसी और के सिग्नेचर या किसी की जरूरत नहीं होती है ऐसा?
नहीं, ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन अलग अलग चीजों का मिक्स होता है. जैसे कि अगर ऑडिट एंगेजमेंट लेटर है तो वो भी ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है. अगर मैंने मेरे क्लाइंट से उनके कोई रेंट अग्रीमेंट की कॉपी ली है तो वो भी ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है. मैंने काम करते समय कोई लिस्ट बनाई है वो भी ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है. तो ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन एक इकट्ठा किया हुआ सामग्री जैसा है जो मेरी प्रॉपर्टी है. उसमें साइन किसी का नहीं होता, वो एक कलेक्शन है बस, और कुछ नहीं. ठीक है. वो एक कलेक्शन है, वो एक प्रूफ है कि मैंने कितना काम किया. अगर मैंने ज्यादा काम किया तो ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन की फाइल मोटी होगी. मैंने कम काम किया है, बिना कुछ चेक किए साइन कर दिया, तो मेरे पास कुछ मिलेगा ही नहीं, तो ऑडिट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन की फाइल पतली होगी. ओके.
ओके मैम,
हाँ जी.
थैंक यू मैम।
यस. नेक्स्ट मिस्टर वेदांत. मिस्टर वेदांत तिवारी जी.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
गुड इवनिंग, बोलिए.
Yes, ma'am. I want to know about benefits of audit, efficient and effective of audit.
सॉरी.
Effective and ma'am, efficient and effective of
Effective and
audit.
efficiency. You want to know that
Yes,
word,
ma'am.
huh? I think you wrote in this
Yes,
thing
ma'am.
also. What does it mean by
Yes, ma'am.
effectiveness and efficiency? It means audit की quality improve करना. Efficient
Yes,
मतलब
ma'am.
कम समय में कम resources में अच्छे से काम हो जाना. Effective मतलब अच्छे से output निकल के आना. इसको कहते हैं efficient and effective audit. सही से टाइम पे खत्म हो जाना, सही लोगों की क्वांटिटी में खत्म हो जाना, और सही से उसका रिजल्ट लेकर आना, उसको कहते हैं efficient and effective audit.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Next, Akhila. Arpita is still
Good
pending.
evening, ma'am.
Okay, after Akhila, Arpita. Okay, just now I saw the name Arpita. Yes, Akhila, tell me.
Ma'am, I am an auditor of poultry farm.
Poultry,
If I
okay.
am the poultry farm was started from previous year or previous year.
Okay.
For first time they came to audit. How can
Okay.
I measure the chicks?
How can you measure the chicks or checks?
Chicks.
Chicks, you mean the chicken?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So again, it comes in our scope of audit. What did I teach you? That we are not engineers. So we are not required to check whether if this much is the size of the chick, what is the value? I should need not have accuracy. What I can check is how has the company calculated it. So let me take an example. Suppose you have started a poultry farm. Okay. Last year you purchased some baby chicks. Okay. Now in 1 year they must have grown some, but last year their value must have been just 1 lakh rupees. But suppose in 1 year now they have become egg giving hen, right? They are able to give eggs. So now their value is not the same as 1 lakh rupees. Now their value must have become 5 lakh rupees or 6 lakh rupees because now they are an egg giving this thing. So in these cases, these are special cases in which the poultry farms need to have a mechanism, because this is like change in the raw material. Do you understand? Change in the stock.
Yes.
The stock we purchased was chick. In 1 year, the stock has no more a chick. Stock may have become a hen, right? Stock may, the chicken may have started giving eggs. So it is more valuable than when it was chick. So I don't have to value it, but I have to check how the company has valued it, and I have to know how the competitors, that knowledge of environment I should have, that how the competitors are valuing the chick. So on the basis of that reasonableness, I can see whether the company's valuation of transition from chick to hen is correct or not. But I don't have to personally go and measure the chick. Is that clear?
Ma'am, but I have another one doubt, ma'am. We didn't we not done a previous andre it's what started first we have
First
started
time
first
you are doing
week.
audit.
First time we are doing audit,
Ah,
but we should measure it for market value, ma'am.
yes. So
Okay.
you will study AS2. AS2, have you studied, Akhila?
No.
AS2, accounting standard, inventory.
Okay, ma'am.
So in accounting standard, you will study that whether you have to take at historical value or fair value. So there you will study that when inventory can change from year to year, which value we have to take. So you will learn all about FIFO, LIFO, weighted average method, fair value, on balance sheet date, which value needs to be shown. So what you are asking is an AS2 question, not an audit question.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So once you study accounting standard 2, everything will be clear. But I'm just saying that in AS2, there is a way that how do you reach the value. If it's first time audit also, if it is 10th time audit also, this needs to be done every year. So you have to learn in AS2. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Arpita? Arpita, you have some question?
Hello.
Yes,
Am I
Arpita.
audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, very good morning, ma'am. So, मैम मैंने आपको जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था प्लानिंग के रिगार्डिंग लाइक इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर इन प्लानिंग. सो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था, जैसे जो प्लानिंग होती है, जो भी हमारी ऑडिटिंग की प्लानिंग होती है, वो मेनली कंस्ट्रक्ट करता है हमारा एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर. कि एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर ही हमारा सारा वो प्लान बना रहा है कि हम ऐसे ऐसे ऑडिटिंग
वो
करेंगे.
नहीं बनाता है, वो भी मीटिंग में रहकर सबके साथ बनाता है.
ओके. सो लाइक एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर के साथ हमारी टीम मेंबर्स भी होंगे, प्लस हमारी जो मैनेजमेंट या फिर TCWG होगा वो भी वहां पे होगा.
नहीं, टी प्लान हम बनाएंगे. हम चाहे तो प्लान बनाने के बाद उन्हें बता सकते हैं कुछ चीजें प्लान की, मेरे मैनेजमेंट या TCWG को. वो हमारे साथ प्लानिंग में बैठेंगे नहीं.
ओके. सो प्लानिंग एंगेजमेंट टीम की होगी, वो डिस्क्रीट रहेगी, बट हम कुछ चीजें उनको बता सकते हैं जो कि हमारे रिक्वायरमेंट्स को फिल अप करेंगे,
यस
जो हमें जिसमें
यस
हेल्प करेंगे प्लानिंग.
यस Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Hanji. Manisha, you have one more question? Manisha? Meanwhile, I'll take Divya's question. Ma'am, can I do audit of my friend business, although he's subordinate? Yeah. That is why I told you it's ethics. I told you in an example that if Divya and Yamuna Shri are best friends, legally can Divya and Yamuna Shri be auditors? Can Divya audit Yamuna Shri if they are best friends? Legally, can they do that? Quickly tell me. Yes, legally you can, because best friendship is not a legally defined relationship. Can you define best friendship? I may say Surinder is my friend, but Surinder says no, she's not my friend. So friendship cannot be defined. So legally, yes, Divya, you can do audit of your friend, but ethically it says that independence is not just legal, independence is of mind. So if you feel that you will not be independent mentally because she's your friend, then you should not accept the audit. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, I was unable to unmute. Now I unmuted myself. So,
Yes.
continuing my question of Bank of Baroda, I told ना that we will have to give a declaration. But हमें किसको declaration देना पड़ता है? वो
Appointing
चीज का कि
authority. Appointing authority. जहां से आपको
who is that, ma'am?
So usually in RBI,
Okay,
RBI
okay.
sends our name to the head office of any bank, and then bank sends us the letter. So that bank from where you have received the mail, the same way, the same place, they will send you a list of documents that you have to sign. So in that mail only you have to revert to them. To bank only we send it.
Okay, so the one who is appointing me, I will have to provide declaration to them only.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Got it. Thank you.
Harshal?
हेलो मैम.
Yes, Harshal.
मैम मुझे क्वेश्चन था सेकंड चैप्टर का जिसमें अब इंगेजमेंट का पार्ट हुआ विच इज एक्टिविटी in activity point number second in that compliance point.
Which page?
Ma'am, my study material I close. But
I don't
related
repeat
second point.
the thing.
Second point of chapter 2, which is
Second point of chapter 2. Okay.
that is in that point first in that first point sub point is a second compliance with the as engagement. मैम उसमें अगर समझो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मेरे फ्रेंड की कंपनी है इन दैट कंपनी I have something a business activities related to something as a purchase in a huge more than 50% out of whole supply from me to the my friend. So in that case, the auditor in my relatives. So can auditor do the auditing of my friend's company
So your friend is running a company or a sole proprietorship or a partnership?
as a partnership?
So the company law rules are not applicable. In company law, there is a direct rule that if you have business relationship with directly or indirectly with the client or its related parties, you cannot do. So if it's a company, the rule is very clear, you can't do. Okay. But if it's a partnership, proprietorship, then you have to use your own independence of mind because there's no such rule.
Okay, ma'am. My second question is in related with for example, in one company, auditor doing the audit, but in auditing part, the auditor find in the auditing procedure transaction related with the that company's we can say is a clause 40, I think 43.
I am not following your question at all. आप हिंदी में बोल लो आपको उसमें comfortable है तो.
Okay, ma'am. अगर फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे जो एग्जांपल पहले बताया उसमें ही कंसिडर करो कि जिनका जिन जो रिलेटिव्स है उन्होंने ट्रांजैक्शंस किए इन द ड्यूरिंग द फाइनेंशियल ईयर प्रीसीडिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर्स, अगर उसमें कुछ हाई लेवल हो, फॉर एग्जांपल 1 CR 2 CR, अदर पार्टी रिलेटेड डिस्क्लोजर करते हैं ना ऑडिट रिपोर्टिंग में। हाँ, तो अगर वैसे ट्रांजैक्शन होंगे विथ रिलेटिव्स, तो देन आई डू द ऑडिट ऑफ दैट एज अ ऑडिटर इफ आई एम ऑडिटिंग ऑडिटर इन दैट केस।
हाँ, पर आप वो कंपनी नहीं है तो आपको अलाउड है करना, बट वही है कि आपकी इंडिपेंडेंस अफेक्ट होगी तो आपको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना चाहिए। बट लीगली कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है अगर वो नॉन कंपनी है तो, क्योंकि
ओके
सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप पार्टनरशिप लॉ में ऐसा कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं है ना। बट
नो
सीए एक्ट जो है, आप वो सीए फाइनल में पढ़ोगे, उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आप किसी के अकाउंट्स बना रहे हो तो आप उसका ऑडिट नहीं कर सकते। तो आप किसी प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्व हो उस कंपनी के डायरेक्टली तो आप नहीं कर सकते, बट बिजनेस रिलेशनशिप के बारे में वहां पे भी नहीं है। तो इसलिए आप लीगली तो कर ही सकते हो, बट आपका वही आपको खुद की देखनी पड़ेगी कि आप इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ माइंड हो कि नहीं हो।
हाँ, मतलब कंट्रोल ऑफ नॉट अनदर्स।
आपका कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, ठीक है ना।
ओके मैम, अंडरस्टूड मैम, थैंक यू।
आई थिंक ऑल डाउट्स आर ओवर। एनीवन एल्स? आई थिंक ऑल डाउट्स आर ओवर। ओके, यस पूजा बोलिए। यस पूजा, आपको कुछ डाउट है?
मैम, आई हैव वन
हम्म
क्वेश्चन। इंडिपेंडेंस, जैसे मैम इसमें इंडिपेंडेंस लिखा हुआ है कि फॉर एग्जांपल कहीं लोगों में भी ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन हो जैसे ऑडिट को लेने के लिए, तो क्या मतलब, और मान लो कि हमारा कोई रिलेशन भी है तो उस क्लाइंट के साथ, तो क्या उस केस में हम मतलब ऑडिट ले सकते हैं या नहीं ले सकते हैं?
रिलेटिव में तो ले ही नहीं सकते। रिलेटिव में तो आप भले कंपनी का ऑडिट कर रहे हो या प्रोप्राइटर का कर रहे हो, रिश्तेदार का तो आप ऑडिट कर ही नहीं सकते, कहीं पे नहीं कर सकते, किसी भी तरीके का नहीं कर सकते।
फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे कि बेस्ट बेस्ट फ्रेंड है, या मतलब कोई ऐसा है जो बिल्कुल वैसे रिलेटिव नहीं है लेकिन
हाँ, बस वैसे रिलेटेड नहीं है तो कर सकते हो।
कर सकते हैं वैसे,
हाँ,
मतलब
अगर
blood-
ब्लड रिलेशन नहीं है तो बेस्ट फ्रेंडशिप वगैरह लीगली तो कहीं रिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं हो सकती ना।
यस
देखो,
मैम, ये कहना
लॉ
था।
किसको रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर सकता है? जिसको वो डिफाइन कर सकता है। जिस चीज की डेफिनेशन नहीं बन सकती उसको लॉ रिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि लॉ में हर चीज स्पष्ट होती है, ठीक है ना। तो लॉ जिस चीज को स्पष्ट भाषा में डिफाइन नहीं कर पाता वो उसको रोक नहीं पाता। अब फ्रेंडशिप की कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं होती इसलिए उसको रोका नहीं जा सकता। तो लॉ में कहीं नहीं लिखा कि तुम अपने दोस्त का ऑडिट नहीं कर सकते। बट आपका जो कोड ऑफ एथिक्स है ना, मॉरल एथिक्स जो हमारा इंस्टीट्यूट ने रिलीज किया है, वो क्या बोलता है कि आप भले लीगली इंडिपेंडेंट हो, बट आपको पता है आप अपने मन से दिमाग से इंडिपेंडेंट ओपिनियन दे नहीं सकते हो। तो प्रोफेशन की मर्यादा को ध्यान में रखते हुए आपको ऐसे असाइनमेंट को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना चाहिए जिस पे 4 लोग सवाल उठा सके, क्योंकि इससे
Recording
हमारे सीए
stopped.
की प्रोफेशन की डिग्निटी डाउन होती है।
Recording
समझ में
in
आई बात?
progress.
ओके, मतलब अकॉर्डिंग टू
लीगली
ऑडिट,
रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है।
लेकिन ऑडिट के अकॉर्डिंग भी हमें एक
ऑडिट
बार
के
देखना
कोड ऑफ
पड़ेगा।
एथिक्स के अकॉर्डिंग नहीं एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए।
ओके, थैंक यू।
ओके, यस लोहित। लोहित, यू कैन आस्क योर क्वेश्चन।
Hello, ma'am. Yeah, I just wanted to ask if in any case I would have given assurance to any of my clients regarding बैंक कोडी के लिए स्टॉक का कुछ वैल्यूएशन किया था और उसमें सबमिट किया हो, can I do their audit?
No.
It was one scenario wherein I've given assurance for any of something.
So if you have done some certification work for them, that's okay. But suppose if I am auditor of a bank and if I am doing stock audits for them, then I cannot be their statutory auditor. Same in case of a company. So if I am doing their internal audit work, I cannot be their statutory auditor. But if I have issued some certificates and that certificates also needed an independent person, then I can be an auditor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think all questions are over. We'll end the class now. So I hope you all have enjoyed our very long, fruitful 3-hour session and all your doubts are hopefully cleared. We'll meet in the next lecture next week. Yes, it's done.